Pisco, if you can hear me, I still want to talk to you about this stuff, but you're not exactly easy to get hold of. I mean, I guess even while he's gone, if anyone else is reading that, if you read further down, it goes, it says you can. It goes, you can admit evidence as to what he demanded, received, accepted, or agreed to receive or accept in return for being influenced in the performance of the act. What the prosecutor may not do, however, is admit testimony or private records for the president or his advisors probing the official act itself. It seems like they still disagree. The logic doesn't seem to, I'm not understanding the logic of what he's saying, but he doesn't seem to be agreeing. Is he footnoting that too? 3, here it is. I guess I can also go find when he admitted to the whole stabbing to pardon someone thing.
Okay, sorry, I'm back.
Yeah, so for that one, I was trying to find I guess it doesn't matter. If you don't agree now to the whole stabbing prosecution thing, then I must have miscommunicated it before, you didn't understood. But in that opinion, so it doesn't seem like he's agreeing, because where he mentions, again, that's in the footnote, he says the prosecutor may admit evidence of what the president allegedly demanded, received, accepted, or agreed to receive. What the prosecutor may not do, however, is admit testimony or private records of the president or his advisors probing the official act itself. And so I don't like, it seems like they're disagreeing. I feel like there could be more clarification to go, wait, how does the question you ask? Well, how do I show a quid if I can't show the quo? If I can only say he accepted something, but I can't talk about the pardon, because now I'm inviting them to say, challenging, going, I don't think you should have pardoned this person. Therefore, I will find you guilty on the bribery.
But yeah.
And I'm saying that, like, this is my entire issue with, and it's super bizarre to me that it goes, that would require more statements, because he's saying you're wrong, but it seems like the logic follows what you're like. I'm like, if they're wrong, you can't say they're wrong, then put out 2 sentences that don't really describe where they're wrong. Well, then does the dissent? Yeah, that's the problem. Is that I don't see him saying, yes, you're right, he can bribe whoever he wants, because he doesn't write that. He could have written that. He could have said, like, yeah, the president can bribe people for pardons. That's
yeah, he writes that she's wrong, and then he proceeds to have a stroke for the next paragraph. Yeah, it's fucking retarded.
Is that what you think?
Yes. Like, for instance, he chooses bribery here, but he says, but of course the prosecutor may point to the public record to show that the fact the president performed the official act. What if it's an official act that isn't on the public record? What if he took bribery in exchange for an assassination? We wouldn't have a public record of that. Like, it's just a stupid.
But you would have, but the thing is, how would you know about it outside of an official? That you'd still have evidence outside of the official act aspect of it, wouldn't you not? Otherwise, how would you even know that he had the assassination? There was no public record of it. How do you even, like? I'm not sure what information.
Well, I mean, you can't criminally probe into it, right? You couldn't subpoena it to find out, right?
They do have to respond to subpoenas. I mean, there's certain things they don't have to give away, but obviously, yeah, if it's a top secret assassination of some random person, yeah. But like I said, well, can I ask you this? So in terms of just like role play, if Biden came to you, let's say you're a legal advisor, I realize you're not a lawyer, but let's just say he says to you that you're the John Eastman to his Trump. You're the top guy, and he's going to listen to do whatever you say. And he says, hey, I've decided I think I'm going to use my military power. I'm going to do the SEAL Team 6 thing. I'm going to have Trump assassinated. And I'm coming to you, my legal advisor. You go, I won't be criminally prosecuted, right? Like, am I fine? Like, do you agree? Like, I can do this. I go, I'm fine with getting impeached or whatever, but I will face no criminal prosecution and I will face no civil prosecution. He goes, would you say, yeah, agreed. You won't face those things. You're fine to do that.
I would say that the 2 things you should be very careful of is that if you plan on assassinating political opponents, make sure that you are talking to people that have no overlap with legislative powers. So make sure you're not talking to like a guard like stationed in Capitol Hill or something like that, right? Because I don't know if some of the legislature might be able to control some of the police there. So make sure that you're talking to one of your officers. That's really important. And then if you're going to order the hit, make sure that there's no public record of that anywhere. That needs to be a conversation between you two. And then, yeah, as long as you've done those 2 things, that should sit within your core and exclusive power. It's conclusive, it's preclusive, and maybe you'll get impeached, but there should be no possible way, as long as this doesn't enter the public record anywhere, there should be no possible way for anybody to come at you criminally for it.
And so let's say someone does go after him criminally and that goes to the Supreme Court. You think the Supreme Court would uphold and go, yeah, it was fine for him to assassinate Trump? The majority opinion would say that.
No, they would say that you don't have the right to even say if it's fine or not. They would say that any conversation that has been had between Biden and his officers is beyond probing or questioning for purposes of criminal indictment. Say conclusive and preclusive power to the president, so you have no right to criminally review it.
Interesting. I actually wasn't expecting that answer from you. I thought, like, because it seemed like with Pisco was saying, like, if he did this, they'd find some excuse to say no, this isn't covered for something. They'd clarify some way, and then find him guilty.
What would you clarify though? How could you possibly clarify it in a way that doesn't allow you to question the motives or the ways that the president executes his power?
That's what I'm saying. Like, they didn't give examples for me to expound upon, but they do disagree. Do you think that because what you're discussing is the dissent's position? The majority may not have laid out why, because like I said, to my satisfaction, they have not laid out why they disagree with the dissent, but they do disagree with them.
Okay, well, like, here's a question.
So
do you think
would you cite that?
Well, here, does the president have the right to tell the attorney general to talk to other states about fake investigations?
Fake investigations, I mean, again, I would. There's more details. It's saying, like, hey, there was a fake investigation. I can imagine a hypothetical where yes, and I can imagine hypotheticals where no.
Okay, well, either way you're wrong, or the answer is
Sure.
always no. You can never probe that ever, full stop. Because they said that they were even going by the allegations. They weren't saying that, well, if these allegations are true, we've given him presumptive immunity, and now you'd have to see if he was functioning as corporate. They said that this conversation, even with the allegations, is off limits. You can't probe any part of this conversation. That's what Robert said when he listed that, when he took that one completely off the books.
My understanding is, like, again, like, I think we had this conversation where we're saying, like, you're saying it was a fake investigation. He's not saying it was one. And so you're trying to probe into saying, well, I want to say what I like.
Wait, hold on.
Override.
To figure out if it's a fake investigation or not, though, we would have to investigate, right? To make this comparable to the other example of assassinating a political opponent. Well, what if instead of he assassinates a political opponent, but maybe he just thought it was a terrorist? Maybe he thought the political opponent was a terrorist. How are you going to know that without a criminal probe?
But isn't the whole, like, if you don't have evidence of it, then why would you be probing it to begin with? Isn't this the whole thing, like, why, like, the whole fake electors thing, or, like, not the fake electors, the actual challenges? They said they had no evidence, like, they were seeking
Why would you
evidence?
probe it? I would imagine that there would be a fuck ton of probes all over the place internally in Congress if, like, a political opponent started to get assassinated. So
yes,
yeah.
No, but I'm saying, so back the whole.
But now I'm saying that, like, you wouldn't be able to probe any
electors. You had no evidence. Their case got dismissed. You go, do you have any reason to think that he did, like, that there were fake votes? No. And they go, and that was one of their people's arguments, like, well, we're not going to know until we can start subpoenaing people and start the discovery process. And we're like, no, you don't get to the fucking discovery process, start to investigating if you got nothing to go off of. And so the question is, what are you going off of to get this investigation going to begin with?
What you only need is it reasonable suspicion or probable cause for a subpoena? You might only get reasonable suspicion, but you don't even get reasonable. You don't get reasonable suspicion. You don't get to subpoena anything. You can't build a case off of anything. It has to be, like, plainly out in view of the public, and it has to not be part of that official act. And then maybe, well, no, then you still couldn't do it. You'd still have to nibble around the edges.
I guess, yeah. So my position is, I think the majority would. So if you did that, if Biden assassinates Trump, I think he would be charged, and I think the Supreme Court's majority. You guys would. I think you and Pisco would both say that they're contradicting their prior opinion in some way.
Yeah.
But I think they would say it's not within their official. They would clarify, which I wish they would have done here, saying that that's not within your official powers. Because if that's true, why would the conservative court because they've again, the God King isn't Trump. The God King right now is Biden. Why would the conservative? If that's what the conservative court think they're doing. If all six of them said, "Hey, we're giving God powers."
Well, here. The issue is, if you want to read this as the court being incredibly partisan, okay, if you want to do that reading, then you would say that the court doesn't care what powers they give to Biden because they know Biden's not going to abuse it in this way. The important thing right now is bailing Trump out of his investigations. That's where the importance of these powers comes up.
They just trust Biden so much.
No, they think that Biden is probably a person of high moral fiber because he's an elected president of the United States and he's not going to begin to assassinate political opponents. I think that most presidents of the United States probably wouldn't abuse their powers like that. Donald Trump, maybe, but not Biden. No, I don't think so.
Do you think Trump would start assassinating? I mean, well, if you don't think people will abuse this, then I'm not certain.
Would Trump assassinate? I don't know. I think Trump would imprison people, though. Absolutely, yeah. He literally ran off of lock her up, lock her up, lock her up. first
and then once he won, what did he do? Like, at his actual acceptance speech, he just, he immediately goes, yeah, she was a good sport. That wasn't even something he looked into. He didn't try and prosecute her. He didn't send anyone after her. Like, he did nothing. So it's like why didn't he do it then? Why didn't he go after her with anything? He didn't have anyone investigate her. He didn't do like open up a special probe into her. He did none of those things.
Well, they'd already had the probe into her, right? They'd already done that. He towards the end of his election, he was calling for an investigation. He was calling for indictments, but
he was still calling for a lock her up, but he took no actions to try and pursue that in any way, shape, or form.
Maybe. I mean, we don't know
my
that.
knowledge,
To our knowledge, no. But he also kind of made the mistake in choosing, like, the people around him. I don't think they would have gone with that. Like, Barr wouldn't have done that. As much as whatever you might think about Barr is a man who has some, like, minimum level of, moral fiber in terms of what he thinks the restrictions or the powers of the AG should be. But he was asking for things, like he was asking Barr to, like, hey, can you tell people that, like, the Dominion voting machines are rigged and that the election wasn't real? And Barr didn't do that. Barr went to the FBI. He said, we looked at the machines. Actually, they seem fine. He rebuked him there. And I think he made wacky requests from Tillerson and I think Pence as well. But, like, generally people just didn't go along with him. But I think if he has another administration, I think he's going to fill those roles out with way more sycophantic people.
So then the conservatives did, like, the articles, even like Bill Barr. I'm stuck with that. It is Barr, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then that when they're arguing, saying that, like, their argument is no, you can't seal Team 6, so that they've tried to address hypothetical, saying no, they don't believe the majority covers it. Do you think they're lying?
When have they said that?
I don't believe because Barr because Barr had an interview right afterwards and was saying, like, whether you use a hitman to kill your president, to kill the your council, or you use SEAL Team 6, it doesn't change the fact that you just did a hit on political opponent and isn't in your official capacity and wouldn't fall as an official act. I think
is this U.S. Supreme Court ruling on presidential immunity with Bill Barr? Is that the video you're talking about?
I think so. I read it from an article. I think they may have been quoting from so you can probably read it. Bill.
Okay. I can read this if you want. Just as a quick thing, people are linking an AP News article. In 2018, President Donald Trump told his counsel's office last spring that he wanted to prosecute political adversaries Hillary Clinton and former FBI Director James Comey, an idea that prompted White House lawyers to prepare a memo warning of consequences ranging up to possible impeachment, the New York Times reported Tuesday. Then counsel Don McGahn told the president he had no authority to order such a prosecution, and he had White House lawyers prepare the memo, arguing against such a move. The AP confirmed with a person familiar with the matter who is not authorized to discuss the situation. McGahn said that Trump could request such a probe, but that even asking could lead to accusations of abuse of power, the newspaper said. Presidents typically go out of their way to avoid any appearance of exerting influence over Justice Department investigations. So it sounds like he did at least talk to people about this. Maybe he didn't make a formal request, but he's been he was privately discussing it. But
so he mentioned it such that a memo was drafted saying, "Hey, wasn't like here's how you can do it," because it wasn't even a memo saying. It wasn't a memo going, here's our arguments as how you might get around this.
No, because this is early in his presidency.
I need to read the memo.
Sure. But, hold on. Careful, because our mind is fucked from Donald Trump, okay? The memos that he was getting here were memos from real people who were really, like, real staff who had real legal degrees and were real human beings who weren't subhuman pieces of shit. So when we talk about, like, a memo that was circulating here, it wasn't like an Eastman memo for a walkthrough for how to coup the government. It's not a memo like that. It was like a memo like, hey, like, these are things you need to be aware of if you try to do this particular thing. Trump has continued to privately discuss the matters of prosecuting his longtime adversaries, including talk of a new special counsel to investigate both Clinton and Comey, the newspaper said, citing two people who had spoken to Trump about the matter. Trump has repeatedly and publicly called on the Justice Department to investigate Clinton, and he has tweeted his dismay over what he saw as former Attorney General Jeff Sessions' reluctance to go after Clinton. Trump's former lawyer, John Dodd, urged Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein in a memo last year to investigate Comey and his handling of the Clinton email investigation. Sessions last year said he was directing senior federal prosecutors to look into matters raised by House Republicans related to the Clinton Foundation and a uranium mine transaction benefiting the foundation that was approved when Clinton was Secretary of State. That was a uranium one. I remember those memes. The FBI has been investigating that matter. What'd you say?
Said the uranium mine? I don't recall that. I mean, I remember Clinton Foundation.
A long time ago in 2016, Donald Trump and his ilk were suggesting that Hillary Clinton unilaterally sold all the uranium in the United States to Russia. It was called the Uranium One conspiracy theory. And uranium, okay. The FBI has been investigating that matter. Sessions in March told lawmakers that he was not prepared to appoint a special counsel to investigate the FBI and potential political bias there. So it sounds like Trump did actually make requests, and there were investigations at his behest. So,
but then why, if the statement is like he'll fire people who don't give him what he wants, then couldn't he have just started firing those people who wouldn't do it?
Well, I don't think he was as openly firing people yet, but for Sessions, he did start to bully the fuck out of Sessions on Twitter, right? He was like roasting Sessions. Or did he actually fire Sessions? I thought Sessions ended up quitting
quit.
because
Yeah,
Donald
I thought
Trump was just
Sessions
like
quit.
roasting him all the time.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I'm pretty sure it was like Trump's entire thing was just Jeff Sessions forced out. Is what I'm seeing a news of. Oh no, it says Trump fires Jeff Sessions. No. Resigns. I'm not saying. I'm seeing articles saying fires and resigns. Or resigns at request. Oh, Trump's request. So.
Oh yeah. I remember more. Yeah, because Trump was pressuring him, and Sessions had recused himself over the Russian investigation stuff, and Trump wasn't happy with that. So Trump was telling Sessions he needed to change his behavior, and then Sessions essentially resigned. On November 7th, Sessions tendered his resignation at Trump's request, following months of public and private conflict with President Trump over his recusal from investigations relating to Russian election interference. Sessions ran in the 2020 Senate election in Alabama to reclaim his old seat, but lost in the Republican primary to Tommy Tuberville, who was supported by President Trump. So Trump did do all of this stuff, right? So he did actually pressure people to investigate people. He did come into office saying that he wanted to lock up his political opponents. He did pressure the people around him to do it. So he did do all of these things. He just didn't have the sycophants that he needed to actually pull any of it off.
But he did for the other, the elector stuff.
For what?
Because he fired, you're saying that he just got yes man for later on for the elector stuff, but for this one, because Sessions resigned, but they still, there was still no special counsel. There was still,
the yes man stuff that he got was when he hired private legal counsel to try to give him advice on how to coup the government. So your yes men, in my understanding, your yes men were Sidney Powell, Rudy Giuliani, and Mike Eastman. There might have been one other lawyer guy I'm forgetting, but those were the yes men that were brought in.
There's some guy with the last name with a T.
Maybe, I don't remember.
Judge. He was the one, because the memos were written from Chesebro to, is it Chesebro or Chesebro? Anyways, that to the some former judge with a T in his name. That was the initial thing of saying the elector thing in general. And then, Eastman is the one who wrote the two memos that detail the outcomes. The first one is just straight up saying, just have him say he won't count them or whatever, and then send it to the House, and then have the House just vote for Trump, kind of thing. I guess it I don't see I don't see the official thing. And like I said, you'd be relying on the dissenting opinions position to try and argue your case. You can't.
Why? Wait, no. I wouldn't rely on this. I would go for the dicta holding opinion that directly addresses the question. Conversations with my attorney general, where I tell my attorney general to do a sham election, and where I threaten to fire him if he doesn't lie on my behalf and open event. That's in my conclusive and preclusive power as president. It doesn't matter what I told him to do. You have no right to talk to me about that. If I have any right, it's to confer with my officers about how to run my Department of Justice.
You agree? So you agree with the dissenting's SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political opponent, correct?
Yeah, it would seem so. Yeah. However, I would say what I just cited about that AG stuff, that was all in the holding majority opinion. Yeah. So
I'm saying that if you did SEAL Team 6 assassinating following exactly what the dissent said, and you came to the majority said, we never agreed with that, it's not an official act. Because your argument would have to be well, no, the dissent said this is an official act. Because you're quoting the dissent, you're doing what the dissent said you could do.
I didn't to be clear, I didn't quote the dissent. What the rationale I just gave you there came from the holding opinion, came from the majority opinion about the conversations with the AG, with the Attorney General. That has nothing to do with the dissent.
Conversations about, and from my reading of it, it seems to be conversations about his powers. So that's the thing we disagree.
Well, but he has the power to order assassinations on people. You're just arguing over the target.
No. So he can assassinate anyone for any reason?
No, but he has the power to talk about assassinations.
Yes, the power to talk, but if you actually assassinated someone, you can't assassinate anyone for any reasons, right? You agree with that, and how?
But you're going past the point. In order to figure,
yes.
Hold on.
Yes.
You're conceptually missing the most important part of the ruling. Okay, you're hitting at the absolute core of Robert's argument. What you're saying right now is, hold on, who he targets is really important. How he executes the power, who he targets is really important. And Roberts is telling you, bro, separation of powers. You have no fucking right to tell the president how he's allowed to wield his power. The legislation can pass laws. It's up to the president to execute. we don't get to decide who he targets. That's up to the executive. That's his power. And the legislature doesn't get to decide who he targets. They just pass a law, and then he is the one that wields it. So you saying that, like, well, he can't target that guy, but he can target that guy, that's a gross overstep of powers, according to Roberts.
You think that Roberts would agree with? I'm saying I don't think Roberts would agree with that. I'm saying
I think that's the core concept of what he's talking about.
Core. Right. So assassination, we are zooming in. We're going because assassination isn't. There's no.
Wait, you don't think ordering like assassinations isn't like in the who else does that?
I'm not asking who else. You're saying it's a core power. Where is it written? Says the president shall have the power to assassinate.
Well, I'm sorry. When I say core, I'm using conclusive and preclusive. Technically, there is no such thing as a core power. That's a term that Roberts invented in this decision. There is no such thing as a core power technically to the president. The definition that he gives is if it's a conclusive and preclusive power. So if it's something that like exclusively the president can do and it's necessary for him to carry out his jobs or whatever, this is a core power is how he defines it. But he's like, if there was ever a core power, him being the commander in chief is like a core thing according to Roberts.
Yes, commander in chief, but we wouldn't it would then not instantly follow that. Therefore, all assassinations thereby flow from that because we zoom in beyond. We're not saying
who else can assassinate? The judicial. Okay, the Supreme Court can't order assassinations, right?
If you assassinate again, we're like going between like a mid zooming out. We're going like from you have the power of the military, you have the power to assassinate. I assassinate for shits and giggles. That's covered. I'm going, well, no, assassinate like that. We're extrapolating the power to assassinate and then just flowing immediately to therefore I can do whatever I want. And I'm saying that's why like the whole I don't know how the pardon power, he goes, I can pardon however I want. I stabbed someone to do so. You're saying that my motives and my effectiveness were effective.
You're begging the question when you say he does it for shits and giggles.
Yes.
That's a question of criminal review. How do you know if he does it for shits and giggles or not? Would you agree that the president ordering an assassination on a terrorist is part of his core powers?
Yes.
Okay. Then whether or not
No, I would not agree with on a terrorist core powers. That's not enough. I would say
ordering
the military.
Who? Okay. Then the question is, can the president order an assassination?
It could be within his core power. Yes.
No. I'm just asking. Can he? He can, right?
He could.
Oh, okay. He can. So he has the ability to do that.
Potentially.
Yes. Okay. Can Congress do that?
No, but I'm not saying, he is a potential. Assassination isn't just you're going from a broad assassination to, and then once I say yes to that, you're then going, now let me zoom in more and saying, let me give you a specific
hold on. I'm not even
example,
zooming in yet. I'm saying of the three branches of government, there is only one branch that can order an assassination, right?
I suspect so. I mean, I guess so, yeah, but I still wouldn't say that that falls within the whole core power thing. I would say assassination would not be a core power. No, because ordering the military is a core power. Assassinations could be in there and that they couldn't be somewhere else, but they're not necessarily, all assassinations are not core powers, is what I'd be saying. And that's what I think the majority is saying.
Okay, your definition of core power is just like the level one part of a thing.
Yes.
And anything, okay. That's not how I understand it, and I don't think there's any part of Robert's opinion that you can give that's going to show that would be like his understanding of core power.
I know, that's where I'm saying that they would need to give an example. If they had addressed or said something about any of these, because I think you said they gave me fuck all. They're not saying anything. So if they say like you have a core power and then they give that zoom, because what core power did they mention? Like they don't give examples, and so we're extrapolating. It's the same thing what the dissent is doing. So I'm like, well, surely assassinations would be. They didn't say that.
Well, he's talking. The thing he gives is when you're in your conclusive and preclusive like exercises of power.
And what examples does he give? What hypotheticals does he offer? Which ones does he contradict from? Like he doesn't do any of those things. The only one he mentions is the whole like discussing, and they goes and the wording of it is like
Article 2. I'm reading from
AG who to prosecute.
Yeah. So I'm in the syllabus right now. Article 2 of the Constitution vests executive power in a president of the United States. The president has duties of unrivaled gravity and breadth. His authority to act necessarily stems either from an act of Congress or from the Constitution itself. In the latter case, so from the Constitution itself, the president's authority is sometimes conclusive and preclusive. When the president exercises such authority, Congress cannot act on and courts cannot examine the president's actions. It follows that an act of Congress, either a specific one targeted at the president or a generally applicable one, may not criminalize the president's actions within his exclusive constitutional power. Neither may the courts adjudicate a criminal prosecution that examines such presidential actions. The court thus concludes that the president is absolutely immune from criminal prosecution for conduct within his exclusive sphere of constitutional authority.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of the president's official acts fall within his conclusive and preclusive authority. The reasons that justify the president's absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for acts within the scope of his exclusive constitutional authority do not extend to conduct in areas where his authority is shared with Congress. So I don't think that when it comes to matters of like national security, or at least like, ordering the military or stuff like that, I don't think the legislature has any shared overlap there at all.
But I'm saying that, so is his core power to order the military to do anything?
Basically, I think so, yeah.
And so again, like my ability to pardon is to do anything to pardon, and you can't question how I do it.
Depending on how it's phrased, that would seem to be the case, yeah.
And so even though stabbing does not in any way get me there, you can't question how I do it, even if it fails.
Well, if
I agree that's ridiculous. I'm just not seeing how I can make a distinction. Like, I get the distinction when you're like, well, that doesn't have any connection to it. I agree it doesn't have any connection to it. But if we're saying I can order the military to do anything, it doesn't have to have any connection to it, right?
Well, you're ordering the military to do something.
Because I can't look into it and go, and I'm pardoning someone. You can say I know I'm not, but if the president says yes I am, how would you examine the stabbing to say it's not how would you address it? How would you in any way get to it? He says I'm pardoning someone. You say no, you're not. You're disagreeing and saying you're disagreeing with him. I realize it's insane, but I'm saying I don't know what question, if under your reading, I'm not certain how you would investigate or determine that no, you didn't. If he says he was doing it, you go, well, it didn't work. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work. That has no rational connection. We already said the military he can do anything with the military just because I said the word military. Like, I'm not seeing the disconnect where it goes like, well, no, he can't do that to pardon people. Why not? If stabbing people did pardon people, you would agree he could do it. But it doesn't do it. But we're arguing over whether it does it or not.
I guess if he declared that he wanted to pardon people by stabbing, I guess, then maybe we're reaching like the outer limits of syntax and grammar here. But potentially, I guess, yeah. But you could do a bunch of ridiculous stuff without going that far. But perhaps. But man, maybe it would have been good for like Roberts to give any indication about any of this whatsoever then.
Absolutely. That's absolutely. Because that's what I'm saying, where I don't think that's there. I don't think that they agree with the dissent, and they don't address anything from the dissent. And so we're using the dissenting opinions, which I think is a decent, like, again, I like Amy Barrett's especially. And like, I think you could argue why the dissent isn't wrong, but he doesn't argue it. He says that they're wrong, and he then starts discussing his own competing problems, saying, well, what if all the prosecutors just go after him for everything? He didn't address these things. That's why I'm saying it's open. I don't know if, like, and so if you were advising a president to do, like, I think the God powers are there, I don't think they're there. I think you'd be playing Russian roulette. I don't think that if he kills Trump, that the Supreme Court would say, yes, that's okay, and that was within his powers. I think they would say it's not, and I think you would then argue that they were contradicting or that it wasn't in line with their prior opinion, and they would argue that it was in line with their prior opinion. And the thing is, it's possible, you'd probably get a 9-0 against you, and there'd be a concurring opinion, because I don't think that liberals would suddenly dissent, but they do a concurring opinion going, the majority totally said that it was fine before. Why are they changing their minds now? Like, there'd be tons of criticism, but I don't think you'd get away with it. I think the same would be true for Trump.
I mean, you can say all this, but it's interesting that Roberts never addressed any of it, I guess. Like,
yes, but it's the same thing for like, there's tons of things, because like they try and argue that they don't want to address more than it takes to dispose of the case. That was the whole 9-0 decision for Colorado, where the liberals were criticizing him for even going beyond just saying, no, you can't, period. Like, and they said, well, no, you said no, you can't, and then laid out a way for how they could. You didn't have to do that, and therefore you shouldn't have. And so, like, they seem to play fast and loose with when they don't want to expound further and when they sometimes do.
Yeah.
Like,
sure. Okay.
But I guess, yeah. So my position, but we're talking, but when I hear you and everyone else talk about it, they're talking as though the dissenting opinion, even at the news articles, they all are just quoting and discussing how the dissenting opinions is truth, and that's not true. The dissenting opinion can't determine what the answer is. They don't control. The majority does. If you want to argue the majority isn't clear, then I agree. But the idea of saying, no, the dissent opinion can determine what the majority is actually saying, they can't.
Okay. I mean, we can say this, but the reality is that part of the criminal case against Donald Trump has already been dismissed because of the controlling opinion of this Supreme Court decision. And other acts of criminal behavior, the ex-president is alleged to have committed severe criminal acts. Those are now all on the table for questioning. And we have a president who a lot of people in this country feel is on the verge of committing extreme criminal acts. And Roberts addresses none of that. For a court that had all three dissenting judges change their opinion in the Colorado case to switch from a 6-3, opinion to a 9-0 and concurring in part opinion to show unity in the country and to turn down the temperature, that it was so important to write those lines that we needed to turn down the temperature of the country. For a court that was so obsessed with their legitimacy and the political divides in these countries, it sure is really fucking retarded that Roberts can probably barely fucking look at a piece of paper, okay, without his eyes going cross-eyed for how fucking mind-numbingly clueless this is and out of touch and out of step with where the public opinions are, that he wouldn't address any of these things. So if you want to run with the argument, what?
When you had talked about the 9-0 decision, the whole turning the temperature thing, that was Amy Coney Barrett, and I thought you hammered her for it, saying she shouldn't have done that.
Yes, I agree. I think because it was probably going to be a 6-3 decision, but they changed it to 9-0 to show unity in the court.
But you're saying that they shouldn't do because
I'm saying that if you want to say, of course the liberals don't say that, but I'm saying if you want to make that argument that we need to fight for the legitimacy of the court and we need to have the, we need to turn down the temperature in this country and that's part of the Supreme Court's job, I guess, then why the fuck wouldn't you do that with this ruling here? You know that this is probably one of the most important criminal cases in U.S. history, and then by extension, this could become one of the most important rulings in Supreme Court history. So why the fuck wouldn't you address these very real concerns that your own concurrent justices are bringing up? Why would you not write something about that? How would you leave that open completely? But not completely, because you are closing the books on some things, like the conversation Trump has with the AG. That's unacceptable.
Yep. Yeah, well, the thing is, but then how do they remand? Because the thing is, he remanded things back to court to have them do an analysis. But if the answer is, but it sounds like from your position, at least from my understanding, is what analysis there to have? Why didn't they just rule them all? What's going to be the argument? If he's going to say it's within his core powers, what argument can the other side possibly have?
Well, the only thing that was ruled core powers, first, on the second act, the second thing that Roberts talks about, they have to decide whether or not the conversation with Pence was core powers or not. If it wasn't, then they have to overcome the presumptive immunity if he was acting within his official duties to show why this won't have any impact on future executive action. And then for buckets 3 and 4, which were conversations with state legislatures over the electoral vote stuff, and then for his behavior on January 6th, they have to do a factual analysis to even figure out which of these were official acts and which of these were unofficial acts. And then of the ones that are official acts, they have to figure out which of these are core powers and which of these are just official powers. And then after they figured that out, if it's a core power, it's absolute, it's off the table. And if it's an official act, then they have to overcome the presumptive immunity to show that probing on this particular thing won't influence the future president at any point in his execution of his executive duty. That's what the lower courts now are charged with doing, or tasked with doing. And any argument that they lose on any of those things become absolutely immune things, actions that now can't even be used in the furtherance of any other crime. That's what's on the table now for the district court.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's an article I read about in terms of that this is partially the fault of this didn't need to happen. Same thing with the Colorado case. That case didn't need to happen. You didn't have to file in the same sense because this was filed 2 years afterwards, and even Merrick Garland, I think I would need to reread it, but was on the edge about even bringing these charges. That you didn't need to do this, and that you are kind of going pretty hard, doing pretty unprecedented things while you have a conservative supreme, so that comes across as kind of partisan. I'm not whether you would agree or disagree or otherwise. The Colorado thing, no, Trump was never going to get those votes anyways. Did you really need to do this? And it goes, are you kind of like, you're playing your Russian roulette each time you do this? And if you had just done nothing, wouldn't you have been better off?
Yeah, but then the issue that we run into is if we have a long string of presidents that are like decently moral people, if you run into one that's exceptionally evil, now you can't do anything because it's all unprecedented. Like that's essentially the argument.
Saying that is the evil, has it crossed that threshold such that you should actually address these questions? And I guess my position is I don't think it crossed that threshold.
You don't think a guy trying to, you don't think the guy trying to, how much further can you get than trying to coup the government? Like what's the only thing that could go further is an order.
Graham on the lobby was a coup. I mean, I would say it's a riot, but I don't think it rises to the level of coup. I think reasonable minds can differ, but I don't think so.
No, reasonable minds cannot differ here.
I know. I mean, I realize you don't agree with them saying that I can believe your position, you can't believe mine.
I mean, we can run through the position, but even you don't believe, even you won't disagree.
Sure.
Here.
Can I try one thing? Why weren't they shooting them? It's an insurrection. Why aren't they shooting them?
Maybe they didn't feel like they had to go that far to accomplish their end.
Have we ever has an army ever invaded and we're like, yeah, I don't think we need to start shooting yet? Like, how do you, if we're saying it's an insurrection, how much further does it go? It's an insurrection.
In what world does insurrection have to be maximum violence? You don't think I could find you?
I'm saying, when did you start? So they were in the building.
Wait. Then let's go. Okay, we'll walk through this. Okay. So,
sure.
Number one, okay. Do you agree that Donald Trump tried to get states to change their electoral votes?
Yes.
Based on likely bullshit evidence. Okay. Do you agree?
What I would say is bullshit, yes.
Okay. Trump tried to get states to change their votes to win the election, okay? Do you agree that when that didn't work, Trump created 7 false slates of electors?
Yes, through the legal it was a legal argument through Chesbrough. I don't agree with the argument, but I don't think it was illegal for him to try the argument. I disagree with the position, but I don't think that I wouldn't go, you're wrong in a legal argument, therefore I can criminally
you
wrong.
Think that there was a reasonable mind that thought that you could have people attest to being the lawful slate, the duly appointed slate of electors who were sending in just another set of votes that they thought could have been legitimate? You think that reasonable minds could think that that's a legal activity?
You focused on the whole, we are the duly elected. So they did the same thing in Hawaii. Both sides said they were the duly elected when neither of them actually were. That being a lie. I think Rakita went through this with you. It's not. Hold on. A fraud.
Rakita was wrong. So in Hawaii in '64, the reason why they sent 2 sets of electors was because that election was like within 164 votes, and they were doing a recount. Yes. So they actually were authorized by the state to send in both electorate slates. Everybody knew what was going on.
I wasn't about authorization. The word you keep using is saying that we are the duly elected. Neither of them were duly elected yet. They both signed documents saying that they were duly elected. Everyone knew what was going on.
When I say duly elected, I mean like appointed by the state legislature to turn in the electoral votes or whatever.
But are you not basing that based on the document saying that? So I'm saying that they...
Yeah, but they were authorized by the state legislature to turn those votes in. They weren't doing it secretly.
It wasn't... Well, how did we find out about it? If it was secret, how do you... do you think we only discovered, later, or...
Wait, discovered what? The Hawaii stuff?
No. For Trump, the false electors.
We discovered this because there was a criminal investigation, and it came out in the indictments. And also, stuff was leaking...
Sure they posted about it. On social media, that I think even in the memorandum for actually doing it, they said they didn't say hide this all from everyone. I don't. I was reading some depositions. They were not told. At least one of the guys I was reading for, who was involved, one of just the staffers. He was they asked me, were you told to hide this? And he was like, no, we weren't told to hide it.
Yeah, well, of course they're going to say that they weren't told to hide it, but I don't remember any.
Did they hide it?
They weren't open about it. What do you mean? Did they? What?
When did we find out that it even happened? Because it must have happened after the election then, right?
The widespread stuff, I'm pretty sure came out in the January 6th commission.
So, because
it was in the J6 Select Committee shit is when I remember most of this being made public.
Trump. Can I get back far enough? Because if this is even relevant to you. So if it was announced, they go, hey, this is what we're doing, and they told everyone what they were doing, would you now say it wasn't fraud anymore?
No, I would still say that it's fraud. These people weren't appointed by the state legislatures to turn in the electoral votes. Even if they were public about it, it would still be fraud. They lied. They like on some of these forms, they literally attested to meeting in the Capitol building and everything, but they didn't. They could. There are YouTube videos of them not even being able to get into the building.
Correct.
So this is perjury.
Do you think all lies are fraud?
Probably not. But in this case,
or just any non-true statement is a fraud.
Probably not. But in this case, Trump is creating 7 false slates of electors. Are we really contesting that Trump thought that there was that maybe it is the case that you can just have anybody go and change a state's electoral vote as long as we get 7, as long as we get some people
I disagree with the memo. I'm saying no. I don't like that. That was the whole thing was stupid from the entire. Even what they did was stupid. I wouldn't even say what they sent was a slate of electors. Part of it, the slate of electors requires the signature of the executory and the seal. They didn't do that, so it wasn't even I don't even.
No, but they put fake seals on it. I'm pretty sure they photocopied and shit.
There was a cover page of an image, and I had to fucking look up laws that goes, wait, because it's. I mean, a seal isn't like a weeping angel from Doctor Who. It's not like whatever holds the image of one is one. A picture of an apple is not an apple, and for seals, there's even rules. It was like a class 3 misdemeanor. I'm like, it's not a seal, but you are reproducing it and presenting it, and I'm like, what exactly are the rules regarding seals? Because it's not a seal. A seal, and I was looking up the actual laws for.
Hold on, wait. You think that I can make a photocopy of a seal attesting that it's legitimate and send it somewhere, and I won't get in trouble? What is the point of this?
Again, that's another weird part. It wasn't attested to. It was a cover page. There was the seal is affixed to the actual document. They didn't affix any seal to the document. Someone put a cover page with a seal on, with the picture of the seal on it.
You don't think that's fraudulent?
I don't know what the fuck it is. It's not a seal, because you would never look at it and go, this is a seal. It's not. It's not, you didn't give us, and it also isn't signed by the governor, and they didn't falsely do the governor's signature either. It has to so it doesn't have the things that are required. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. It makes no fucking sense to me. Because even their idea of saying well, he would have 2. He doesn't have 2 slates of electors. He has 1. He has 1 slate of electors and another one with a cover page with an image of the seal, not signed by the governor, which means the entire thing is invalid on its face. There's no way to even it'd be like if there was no signatures on it at all. And you just go, is that a false slate of electors? It's not a slate of electors. I don't know what the fuck they think they were doing. None of it fucking makes any sense to me. Even his argument of saying we need to do this to preserve it. That's what Gore did wrong. No, you didn't. I forget which. I think it was Wisconsin or something. Was it Wisconsin? It was one of the states where it's they have specific policies if this happens. You go, yes, we can attest to a new one. You don't have to do this to do the whole.
Okay, so these are some of the documents. These are some of the documents. Okay, I can just read you. Tell me when it sounds like fraud.
Sure.
Sarah Franco is hereby nominated, designated, and seated as a presidential elector for the sovereign citizens of the great state of Arizona under the God-given powers held by the citizens, as memorialized in the 9th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution and elsewhere, for the general election of November 3rd, 2020, to vote for re-election of President Donald J. Trump to his second term of office. Blah, blah, blah. I, Sarah Franco, duly acknowledge and swear before God, Arizonans, and my fellow Americans, I will faithfully execute my office as presidential elector as seated by the power and authority of the citizens of the state of Arizona for the Arizona State Presidential General Election of November 3rd, 2020, and will vote for President Donald J. Trump.
Yep. Yeah, I read those. Yep, absolutely.
This is fraudulent. These people aren't the electors. They haven't been seated by the people of Arizona. This is fraud.
Correct. No. It's that's what I'm saying. There could be an argument that it's fraud. The question is, and the reason why I'm saying that is that the same thing with Hawaii. The difference that makes Hawaii okay is no one was opposed. There was no opposing side. Hawaii's yeah, both of you send in sets of electors. They both signed things, not saying, hey, just BT dubs.
Hold on. When you say Hawaii said that, the explication there is that the state legislature approved it. The state legislature approved both sets of electors being sent in.
They were not duly elected yet. They signed something saying they were. That's a lie. Does that not fit your criteria? I can show you the document they signed back then.
Sure, let's look it up.
Because only reason I'm saying is because you keep relying on saying, here, let me read it to you. It says they are the duly elected. They weren't. And I go, I agree. Neither was Hawaii. They weren't duly elected yet. I realized everything was approved by the state to do this, but approving of a lie doesn't make it true. How do I send you?
Was it 64, guys? What was the year? I keep saying 64. Maybe it wasn't.
I have an image of the actual state of Hawaii, of the actual document they signed.
Okay.
How do I send it to you?
On Discord?
Can I miss? I think it.
Oh, it was 1960.
It says upload failed. So it's the same thing. It says your message cannot be delivered. You don't share a server with the recipient. The recipient is only accepting direct messages from friends. You can see a full list of reasons here.
Oh shit, we're not. Okay, sorry. Hold on 1 second.
You want to add me and then remove me right after I send it? It's fine.
Or just fuck it. Post a link in chat.
Okay. Is there a chat for this room or just any fucking chat? Because I'm not saying I can do a chat for Destiny's room.
Do you wait like in Destiny.gg?
Oh, Destiny.gg. Can I link it? I have it saved as an image. I can do that in Destiny.gg.
Can you upload it to Imager?
Here, can I just post it in your fucking, where is it? In politics. Can I just post it in politics? I'll just post it there.
Sure. Okay, I'm looking at...
The only reason I'm focusing on this is people keep saying we certify that we are duly organized, we proceed to vote by ballot, that we are voting, we have convened at the Capitol, pursuant to the Constitution.
How do I find the fucking politics channel? God, I hate fucking Discord. Comp sign,
be
notable Wall Street
bets.
bets.
One up.
Okay, hold on.
Should be literally the thing up right above this voice, at least if yours is organized like mine.
Nope, it's not.
There's not a drop-down menu for politics that then opens up into one with a hashtag politics?
Nope. Hold on.
If I do, I can do an at Destiny within it, I guess.
Oh, I see it. Okay, it's politics, and then there are sub-channels. Oh, politics.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ. .jfif. What the fuck kind of file is this? Oh, okay, it's image.
A Discord app attachment. I don't know what the fuck. Because when I click it, it opens up as a Discord attachment, so I don't know why it's called that. Being electors duly and legally appointed and qualified by and for the state of Hawaii. They weren't. They have not been. Because once they accept one, that means the other ones have signatures are saying that they are, and they weren't.
Wait, why are you saying? So are you saying that the legislature didn't accept these people?
No, they did. You can't accept two. One of them's wrong.
Wait, why can't you accept two?
Okay, then why did they just? So once they actually got there, why weren't both of them counted?
My understanding is they sent both slates of electors,
and neither of them had actually been chosen yet. And they did it because that way, once one was chosen, just goes use the one we sent that is correct. We'll let you know.
Yes.
And then throw away the other ones.
Correct. Yes.
So
but
yes.
the state legislature authorized both of those. Yes.
Yes, that's the difference. The difference is not, but that doesn't make something fraud or not, whether or not it's authorized by the state. You're saying that because you just read it to me. You're like, here, let me read it to you and tell me when it sounds like fraud. You're just reading a pre-thing document here that's saying like, we are the duly elected. It doesn't say, hey, we're authorized, but we're not. Pisco.
No, stop, please, God. I don't want this to be a 7-hour debate.
All
Hold on. Okay. Do you agree that the state legislature clearly agreed to send these people?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you agree that the state legislature clearly agreed not to send the other people?
100%.
So why are we getting hung up on...
Because you're the one reading the... Like, if you want to drop the language thing and saying, well, because you keep saying, like, they said they were the duly elected. The paper says this. I'm reading the paper. I'm reading the paper
My 99.9% assumption would be that if a judge would look at this, if somebody were to even think to bring, like, a criminal matter or something up to the people, they'd be like, well, you duly elected. It's like, well, yeah, the legislature said that they would basically choose as soon as the recount finished. You're never, ever, ever, like, prosecuting somebody on this when the state legislature, who's empowered to make these decisions, like, literally told these electors, like, yeah, you're good, like, ship it off, and then we'll just choose once it gets there. Nobody is in the act of committing fraud. Nobody has a state of mind to commit fraud. The state legislature is approving this of every single step of the way. This has absolutely nothing to... But for the Trump electors, those people are not... The states are not signing up on this. A private party is telling them to do this.
Yes, so they're doing it because from the legal argument, which I don't agree with, is saying that, hey, we needed them to have an alternate slate of electors because they, like, in the memorandum detailing what they're doing, I think even the electors actually hand wrote on some of them saying in contingency.
Okay, if I go to a lawyer and the lawyer tells me I'm allowed to rape people, does that mean I'm okay to rape people? I can use that defense in court?
No.
Okay.
But you can use it to say that I didn't intend. So you wouldn't be one to say that you didn't do it. It'd be one to, because remember, fraud has to have intent. You can't accidentally fraud someone. It's not possible. You have to intend to do it.
Okay, do you think that all the parties involved here, Donald Trump onwards, all believed that they legitimately had the right and authorization to do this?
they believed they were sending in a contingent set that the state would then either, I think the things that they presented were, one, that if the challenge goes through, the state would then send the whole seal and signed by the governor, which they could do for this other set of electors. Or the other one was the whole where if Pence sees them and says there's a dispute and then throws it to the House, and then the other one, which I would say is
hold on, wait, but that's not
they just choose.
That's not them doing an alternative legal theory. That's them using these false slates of electors to muck up the process.
But it'd be saying that if the process allows for the mucking, then I don't know what you want from me.
Do you think that a coup could ever be committed legally or no?
A legal coup? I mean, I thought coup generally refers, again, I would need to see the specific definition of coup. I don't think.
No, just fuck the definition. Do you think that legally there could be a coup?
Yes. The first memo set by, Eastman.
No, fuck the memos. Ignore the memos. Who cares about the fucking memos?
He's arguing that it's legal.
Okay, I don't care about the memos. I'm just asking as a human being, okay? So 7 sets, okay. When Trump made these other slates of electors, Trump knew that he had not won those states, correct?
Correct.
Trump knew that up to this point, nobody around him was confirming voter fraud, correct?
Correct. Well, no, he didn't know. I don't know that. No, I don't know.
Okay, he did. That is known. It was released in the indictments, and it was released in the J6 committee that every single person around was saying, we haven't found voter fraud.
It's not. He just changed it. It didn't say people. I read people around.
No, wait. I didn't even say that Trump believed it. I said that everybody around him had told him there was no voter fraud, right?
Correct.
Yes.
People around him have told him.
So everybody told him. Well, no, hold on.
Everybody.
Only opinions that he solicited.
From constitutional attorneys.
No, opinions that he solicited from people who would give him. You think that you don't think anybody in the White House was a constitutional attorney? Nobody in the Office of Legal Counsel, nobody in the Department of Justice, nobody who was working in the White House. You don't think none of those people just all happen to be the wrong types of lawyers?
We have the same issue where you keep referring to them as like just some random dude. And
they are random dudes.
Eastman's is a constitutional attorney.
He wasn't. Yeah, but Trump brought him on because he was giving him this legal theory.
Yep, he's finding his doctor who will give him his diagnosis. Yep, he's finding an attorney that will support his legal theory. What he wants to hear. He wants a legal theory that makes him right.
Okay, but then don't cite to his credits as a constitutional lawyer. That doesn't matter. He's a person that Donald Trump picked to be his yes man because you're citing his credentials.
No, it does. You're so if I find a doctor that will give me medication, he still legally is prescribed. It hasn't been like, oh, you illegally solicited the medication. No, you shopped for a doctor. It doesn't. I realize it looks stupid. It's a good thing to criticize him on. I think he's retarded for it. But I don't think that you can then say, no, you shopped for a doctor, therefore you're trying to illegally obtain medication because you found a licensed doctor who would give them to you, even if you shop for it. People do. There's times where it's like, well, this guy won't give me what I want, so I change doctors.
Is it not illegal to like go from doctor to doctor, like asking for prescription medication that you probably shouldn't have? Is there not can't you get in trouble for that or no?
Potential. Maybe again, potential. It wouldn't be automatic. You wouldn't say like, well, 3 doctors said no. I don't think, at least to my knowledge, there's nothing that says like you spoke to 3 doctors, a 4th legally won without being deceived. Like you didn't lie to the 4th one, going like, no, I didn't see anyone else. And he goes, yeah, no, I'll prescribe it to you. I think you do have it. I disagree with those 3. You can't get you for saying you intentionally tried to illegally obtain them because you did find a doctor.
Just curious, if I went on Twitter and I were to say, I really need some Oxy. Can I please get a doctor to prescribe to me? And then a doctor would like DM me and then he were to give me that prescription. Do you think he would lose his license? And do you think that I would be prosecuted for soliciting illegal drugs?
So I really need Oxy, and one just like again, if there was no process followed for actually finding, if you're saying I need Oxycontin and a doctor saying,
I tweet out, I need Oxy. Yeah. And then a doctor DMs me and says, oh, hey, I'll prescribe it to you. Do you think that he won't lose his medical license?
I think he would, because I don't believe you can prescribe that way. I believe there are rules when it comes to prescribing medication. So
the rule is just a doctor analyzes you and he diagnoses and then he prescribes something for a condition.
No. Specifically, depending on the law, like so certain ones, like you're required to see them in person. There's even some of them aren't even clear. That's why some prescribers won't even give you, even if like it's like, oh, you need to be within 50 miles of him, and he has to be within 15 miles of us. There's a lot of things where and it's not even 100% clear in terms of that. So, and I realize that's not the point you're trying to make. The point you're trying to make is saying that there was enough information being given by his surrounding people, and the fact that he just found some jack-off constitutional law attorney, but he is a constitutional law attorney, the fact that he had enough people saying no, I have enough information to say, motherfucker knew the answer was no, and he wasn't going to take a no for an answer. Even if Eastman had said no to him, he would have kept looking. If he found no one, you still think he would have done that? That it was the fact that Eastman said yes to him didn't actually change his behavior. If Eastman had said no, he wouldn't. There was no end. He
sure,
was
that's fine, but then let's
period.
not cite to Eastman's credentials like it influenced Trump to make this decision. Trump would have
followed the theory of that. I'm saying, so if he just did like, I want to do this thing and I will only like the OxyContin thing, saying I want OxyContin, I want to send in 7 slates of electors because I think I can. I need to find an attorney who will say yes to me. Versus saying, I think I have I think that these are illegal state electors, and I want to know the method by which I would do it. And someone goes, here's a legal memorandum. You'd send in contingent slate of electors, and those contingent, and based on the Hawaii, that they cite prior case law, which I think is wrong, which is the point that other attorneys even quit, saying this is so wrong, we're not.
Yeah, wait. So then, so you think? Okay, so then just to back up, so you think Donald Trump was acting legally and acting in good faith legally when he managed to find an attorney who would sign off on a crazy scheme to flip the election? You think he thought he was in the legal right the entire time?
It wasn't even just him. There was 3, I guess. So 3 people, 3 different people with different So I don't think that those were fraudulently created. I think they did actually, but the people who wrote the memorandum did legal research, quoted cases, and believed that they had a reason to do what they were doing. I think their intention was based on the memorandum.
Just to flip. Okay, so then to flip, you think that on the macro, everybody involved in this thought that they had good legal grounds to flip the election of the United States.
Flip. So no, so that would be the one. So they had good grounds. They didn't have. I think they had shitty grounds, but I think they did make a legal argument as to why they could.
You can make a legal argument for anything if you really want to. Part of Eastman's plan was literally relying on him saying the ECA is actually violative of the Constitution. Like, that was part of his argument. Like, oh, we don't think this would survive a Supreme Court trial. That was part of his legal argument. So you can legally argue anything you want.
Yes, the leaked thing from Eastman, I would immediately call a coup. If that was what it was, if that was just like we sent this around, this was the plan, I would say coup immediately. The problem is that that once someone leaked that thing, he goes, no, that wasn't, he releases the actual full thing where he goes, here's 9 different, he wasn't saying, do this thing. He lays out 9 different ones, many of which involve Biden winning, and says, here's what the things
can you link me, can you link me what you're talking about there? The 9 different things. Yeah, link me which one.
Sure, Eastman memos. I didn't even see these things so recently. Someone in the Discord actually first showed it to me. Because the thing is, the first one everyone is the first one or the second one. No, it's the first one. So yeah, this is the leaked one on an article. Let me find the second one. Yeah, it's in his first memo. Yep, here it is. Got it. All right, it's just a link. You still have that same channel open? Here, I'll do an @Destiny for it.
It's in the politics channel, right?
Yeah, no, I'm doing it. So it should.
Okay, yeah, I see it. Okay.
There. The bottom page, number 3, wargaming the alternatives, where it lists out all the different options. Where it's not saying do this one. It says here are the different things.
VP Pence opens the ballots, counts those certified by the state executive, and does not receive any objections meeting the requirements of the electoral countout. Biden wins. Okay, so wargaming. So A is like how the process is supposed to go. Okay.
Yep.
B, VP Pence opens the ballots, receives objections to the 7 states with multiple ballots. The 2 bodies adjourn to their separate chambers and decide which slate of electors to count. In number 1, House votes to count the Biden slate. The Senate votes to count the Biden slate as well, depending on Georgia election, only 1 of 3. Okay, Biden wins. The House votes to count the Biden slate. The Senate votes to count the Trump slate under the ECA. Because the 2 houses do not agree, the slate certified by the executive prevails. Biden wins. House votes to count the Biden slate. There's a filibuster in the Senate, contrary to the time limits of the ECA. Standoff till the filibuster ended by the closure vote, which will only take 10 to 12. Okay. And then C is Vice President Pence opens the ballot, determines on his own which is valid, asserting that the authority to make the determination under the 12th Amendment and the Adams and Jefferson precedent is his alone. Anything in the Electoral Count Act to the contrary is therefore unconstitutional.
Everything in C is a coup, in my opinion.
What do you think they were pushing for?
My understanding is Trump was pushing for, at least to my knowledge, Trump was pushing for C, and from Pence, it seems to be not 100% clear on which one he was pushing for. But I think I mentioned to you before where he goes, C listed as this. So this isn't, Eastman doesn't say, and again in his interviews saying, I didn't tell him to do this. In fact, I even spoke to him specifically. The last memo saying the whole wanting to do a delay for the outcome of the to whatever the outcome of whatever trials were still
Wait,
going
hold on,
on.
wait. So do you think that Eastman is giving instructions for how to successfully perform the coup, or no?
I don't think he's giving. I think he's giving the outcome. Like he's going. These are the things, and what I think I have arguments for. I don't think Part C is meant to be like, hey, I'm secretly gonna hide a coup in this memo, and these other ones are all just what are they? A facade. Because the thing is that the answer would be that this was made up intentionally to be a plausible deniability to the coup. If you believe that, then I would agree with you. Then that's what it is. But if you believe that this wasn't done to create plausible deniability, then they appear to be making legal arguments, which I wouldn't say is a coup. They're wrong, but I don't know if the other, like I said, the other options where they say if they wanted to make these delays, and at least in the interviews I've seen with him after I watched some I forget who interviewed him, the way he lays it out, it doesn't sound like it's a coup. I don't agree with his legal argument, but I don't know if I can. Sure. I mean, I think it would disqualify. I would never vote for him. I wouldn't want him as an attorney. I wouldn't want like.
No,
I think
we're not asking about that. I don't care
but,
about that. Okay,
yeah,
so let's just read from the top.
Yeah.
Privileged and confidential. January 6th scenario. Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2 of the U.S. Constitution assigns to the legislatures of the states the plenary power to determine the manner for choosing presidential electors. Modernly, that is done via statutes that establish the procedures pursuant to which an election must be conducted. Mm-hmm. Section 1, Illegal conduct by election officials. Quite apart from outright fraud, both traditional ballot stuffing and electronic manipulation of voting tabulation machines, important state election laws were altered or dispensed with altogether in key swing states and or cities and counties. When the laws at issue were specifically designed to reduce the risk of fraud and absentee voting, those violations are particularly troubling. A sampling of the more significant violations is as follows. And then he goes out to list things in these 7 states. What is the purpose of this?
Stating what the legal conduct in those states they would be using to try and say like Georgia can be overturned because they accepted votes that they shouldn't have, and so if we exclude those votes, then you would be able to. Then Georgia would go to Trump. Pennsylvania going like here's a So he's giving legal arguments to saying like this is what the challenges I think we can do that would make the state go in our favor. That if these were because if those are true, if it goes hey you accepted votes you weren't supposed to, those should be thrown out. Would you agree with that or disagree?
I mean, I kind of agree, but he knows, but they know at this point when this memo is going out, they all know that these claims are probably bullshit. They failed in every court. They didn't make any progress with any of the governors or any of the election officials.
So he wrote this. So we're back to this is a facade placed on. Like, as in, you're saying he wrote this knowing it's not real.
Yes, that's part of what's being alleged.
Is a plausible deniability to go like, hey, because like so again, and I'm the chump buying it, going like, oh, you think like that? See, I wrote this thing saying here's my legal argument, so you like that means it wasn't a coup. You believe me, right?
Well, a lot of these are the arguments that Trump and them have been like trying to use over and over again. Yes.
Yes. Well, it's the same thing with even like because the.
Okay, I see. That's two. I have a question for you. What would it take to change your mind that they were lying?
To change my mind.
Is anything sort of an outright confession sufficient to show they're lying?
Something that would point to whether a communication, an email, a deposition, someone that discussed because of this memo required someone to do research, someone that
I'm going to ask
knows
you a question again, and you can
something.
answer yes or no.
Yeah,
is there anything other than an outright confession, either saying it in a deposition or saying it blatantly, we know this is false?
Not blatantly, no. But
so in order to
see
prove someone's lying, it has to be like a self-confession, right?
No, I need something.
What do you mean something?
Anything. So, I mean, like, you have nothing. Do you agree you have nothing, but you
Wait. Tell to be clear, the nothing that you're saying is a lot of the exact claims that Donald Trump was making had been rebutted by all of his investigative and legal counsel, and he continued to make those claims. Other than an outright confession, what stronger evidence could there be that a person is lying? Like besides an outright confession. Let's say that I have a guy called Einstein, and I ask Einstein, "Hey, what's the formula for mass energy equivalence?" And Einstein tells me that, and then I go to another person and I say, "Oh, the formula is actually 1 + 1 = 2." Right? Like besides me saying that, like, okay, yeah, I'm just like intentionally misrepresenting what he's saying. What other possible evidence could you have that these people are lying?
I'd need something that I would think that doesn't have any ground. So the part C, so the first memo by Eastman, the first one I was shown was just that one without seeing the second one. And if that had been the only one, I would say coup entirely. And if anyone tried to tell me, then yes, I would accuse them of lying. Part C of the wargaming the alternatives, if that was the statement, if it goes, this is it, this is what we plan to do, here's our legal argument. We think the 12th Amendment allows me to do
Well, no, wait, we moved on to the legal arguments. I'm just saying for all the voter fraud stuff.
You just have what I would do to believe. Notice, that's a legal argument. There's no admission that this is a coup. That part, that would be it. Without any admission, I'd still take.
We're not talking about the process part. I'm just saying for all of these claims of voter fraud, all of these have been shot down by every single part of Trump's administration. No official person was on board with him here. Nobody was. Everybody told him that it was bullshit.
Great. So then this would be the thing that would convince me. So I have not, because even this memo I've only seen recently, and because and then if you're saying that each one of these statements, because again, from the Eastman interview thing, he didn't seem like it, but again, obviously he could just be fucking lying.
Stop yapping. Just answer one direct question.
Yes.
So for the Georgia election situation, you understand? Remember that conspiracy theory? They're putting like boxes underneath the thing. You know that?
Yeah. Is that mentioned in
famous video?
Those three right here in Georgia. No, those right here, Georgia. SOS altered signature verification requirements.
I'm not reading the memo. I don't care about the memo. The person
saying they're lying.
Do you remember the whole conspiracy theory about putting boxes under the voting machines? Do you remember that?
No, I don't. Not specifically. It sounds familiar, but not specifically.
You don't remember the most famous conspiracy in all of the election?
There's like 20 in this one stupid fucking memo. And
no,
there's one that's not
forget
here.
the memo. Forget the memo.
Again, sure.
Okay. Do you remember any specific claim of voter
fraud?
Do you remember the specifics about any of them?
The specific ones that I recall off the top of my head were something with the Dominion voting machines being rigged. Some videos of like people coming back in to count votes after everyone had closed.
That's what we're talking about. The election workers coming back in, and there was a box they pulled out under.
Yeah, what state was that?
Table. That was in Georgia. Okay, so take that one example. Okay, agree that was a video that was passed along. You remember that, or you at least remember seeing it? Okay.
Yep.
In that one example, we know the actual facts of what went on there. That in fact, this was not like some extra ballot box, that you can see actually the continuity of where that box was before and where it was under, that there weren't any extra votes or anything like that. It was investigated by Georgia state prosecutors. It was investigated by federal investigators. And Donald Trump and his cronies continue to put it out there as like a very big version of fraud. Okay. And then after had a conversation with Bill Barr and he's presented all this evidence, says, no, this is actually not the case. Right. Rudy's lying to you. And Bill Barr will actually attest to a conversation he had about this specific incident.
Sure.
After that, he has a call with Raffensperger in Georgia. And he reiterates that claim.
Yep.
Do you believe that's a lie? Yes or no?
I would suspect so. It's rebuttable, but I would suspect so.
So you agree that unless there's some evidence of him, if it's not a lie, right, it's willful blindness, correct?
Sure. It's not a lie, but again, it's not because you're not. I'm not
going to accept much. But you would assume it's a lie, right? You're just saying
sure,
you believe
it's relevant,
lie.
but sure.
Okay, so you do not believe it's relevant. You just said that Donald Trump, in his correspondence, this is a call with the Georgia Secretary of State who has control over the Georgia elections. You just admitted that you believe that he lied about voter fraud to that person. You agree that that is relevant?
No. I believe what's relevant is what I'm looking at right now. Why isn't that listed here? If that's so true, why isn't it listed under here, Section A, Georgia? They hid ballots under it. Why would that be left out? If this is so important to them, if it's the biggest thing ever, if Trump believes it absolutely, if this is a thing they're all pushing, why the fuck isn't it listed in their discussions of what they're doing?
So
why do they list other things? Do you agree the other one is?
Everything that we're talking about is evidence like that. So what Stephen is
the state. Read this one. SOS altered signature verification requirements via an unauthorized settlement agreement.
Unauthorized according to who? Unauthorized according to who?
Yeah.
No, that's the argument. But you're saying that.
No, wait. When you say that's the argument, when you say that's the argument, are you saying that if he were to have filed this memo and under each state he were to say, "A, Georgia, subsection 1, Martians altered the vote and the government hasn't addressed this yet," you would consider
I wouldn't believe that.
Oh, wait. Then why do you consider every single thing written here as being legitimate when there were a million more arguments than this that all got shot down, both inside Trump's own council and in every single state where he pursued them?
Because they took lines and actions with these plans they laid out, and the things you're mentioning to me aren't in these plans.
Okay, so then it's this.
If their actions are in line with the plans and the reasons
wait, but then so then the Martian thing is good. Then the Martian thing works.
No, it's not.
Why? Why not?
Fine, show me in this document where it says Martians.
SOS alters signature verification requirements via an unauthorized settlement. Unauthorized according to who?
Yes.
Hold on, I'm sorry, wait. Is Eastman the Secretary of Georgia? Is he the governor of Georgia? What?
Nope. No, are you saying it's impossible? So it's beyond the realm of reality for any settlement agreement to be unauthorized. It's not possible.
It's not up to him to make that decision, especially when it comes time.
You're right. The memo here is not laying out his specific reasoning for each one. Each one of them is saying, hey, here's the illegal conduct that we say happened. It doesn't say it doesn't go into a secondary memo for each one. If I had those or something like that, but each one going portable polling places, like, so here's the things that I think that we can win on at some point. So that if he's challenging the thing saying, I think this is an unauthorized settlement agreement. If that was in process in Georgia, in their alleged pleading saying, we are alleging this thing, it hasn't been resolved yet in Georgia, we don't have an answer yet. If we win on this point, the vote will slip to Trump, then what's the issue?
What's the issue? To be
So no, if it actually came out. So again, it's in process right now. There's currently, let's say there's a court case, and let's say it's going to be found out on January 12th. So we're 6 days after the election. We're not going to find out if this verification requirement was via an unauthorized settlement agreement. Let's say we can even see the future, and the answer was yes. Actually, the court's going to rule and go, actually, guys, this was not a fair settlement agreement. You can't alter the signature for verification like this. We have to throw out every vote you said in relation to this, and that means Trump wins the election. Trump would win that state.
A couple reasons why that is the dumbest thing, which is hard because you say a lot of dumb things. That too. But so just think about what you're saying. You're saying that any conceivable legal challenge, no matter how bad faith, no matter how ridiculous, you agree that it would be ridiculous to just assert that based on no other evidence but the party itself in a total ex-party way, like you're just going off of the claims of the complainant here, Trump. To assume, or that we should consider it as part of assessing your bad motive or bad faith. The mere possibility that a court, after the statutory deadlines for certifying votes and after all the deadlines for going through these court procedures, that we would just say, well, because it's technically within the realm of physical possibility that a court might throw out the entire election because of this procedural issue that's never been won by him or hasn't shown any indicative of success, that we should read into that what exactly? Yeah, I can make up a bunch of bullshit legal claims, not test them at all, and just or get to the pleading stage, and you would say, all right, well, as long as he had one or two reasons that haven't been struck down yet, it's not a coup anymore.
Not whether it's struck down or not. That's not my statement.
So what is the basis?
If they had alleged that thing, so if you go with the ballot box thing, so you go, it was completely debunked. We know exactly what it is, and therefore, if he had put that in a pleading, so let's say again, so that he goes, I'm still arguing.
Wait, short circuit this. No, this is stupid. Short circuit this because they could put what Pisco is saying is they could put anything in a pleading.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean? No, it's literally it's a complaint to a court. You can put anything you want. Sorry.
Not accept anything in a pleading.
Wait, the what?
What's written here is fine, is enough for me.
Wait. But why? You have no idea what the signature verification requirements are. So you could literally write anything. So why would
they? So if someone came out, so if there was the same thing with the ballot box, if prior to that even being done, there was an adjudication that goes, no, these verification requirements are fine.
Stop. No. Okay, let's say they say the verification requirements were unauthorized. They don't say that. Like, okay, well, actually, the signature requirements were unauthorized. And then next they say, oh, the type of ink they used was unauthorized. And then next they say, oh, actually, the date that they did it was unauthorized. And then they go, oh no, the voting places were unauthorized. So Zetsui would say on every single one. Well, maybe they are. I don't know. We have to wait and see. So all of these could be used. Wait, then why would you say no to one of those but yes to this?
Because you're not even arguing against this. You're trying to give me some other example that wasn't even brought up. So it sounds to me like you don't actually have an argument against it.
No, the argument against it. Wait, hold on. The argument against the argument against these things is that the vast majority of these cases got tossed, if for no other reason, because the injunctive relief, the remedies that they were looking for, were retarded. In this case, the Trump versus Kemp one, the relief they were looking for was to throw out the entire vote.
Yep, and it was properly rejected.
But you're saying that before that had been rejected, well, that's a legitimate challenge on the books by which maybe they should have tried to flip the vote of the state, and that's legitimate because it's listed under here, under subsection A, subsection 1?
It would depend on the challenge itself.
But I'm telling you the challenge. That was the challenge.
I don't know, and you haven't argued that the thing is listed here. That's why you're going off of something else.
Wait. Is the burden on us to show that these are frivolous
If you want to say it's a lot, because you're trying to assign malice, I'm willing to say that they're stupid bullshit and should be gone. But if that's all you wanted from me, I'd agree with you immediately. But you're not. You're saying that you want him to read his mind with it.
Do you believe that
use
these are
mind reading powers beyond it?
Do you believe that these are 95% to 99% chance completely frivolous claims?
No, and you haven't argued each one.
Okay.
Like,
so
every single one I have looked into, so like things like the ones that anyone that I have looked into, I go is bullshit. The entire elector thing.
Do you know of any Trump claim in the 2020 election other than the Pennsylvania putting them aside votes, which had nothing to do with the outcome? Like it was a small amount of ballots anyway, so we're not going to talk about that. Other than that one, can you think of any non-frivolous claim that would have affected the total outcome of the election?
No, I'm not aware. Like again, I didn't read each of the pleadings.
Okay.
So I'm saying I'm willing to accept. I'm willing to accept all the outcomes.
This is where we are right now. This is where we are right now. Is that too?
Yes.
You cannot identify out of the 60
and therefore you can assume mind reading powers. Sure. Go ahead.
Out of the 60 plus lawsuits brought by Trump or his allies or people who supported Trump, you cannot identify right now as we sit here a single one that you would characterize as non-frivolous other than the one specified.
I wouldn't characterize them as non-frivolous or frivolous. I would not make a statement actively on each and every single one. The idea goes, do you know all of them? You seem to not know all the ones even listed here. So
no, you don't have to know all of them. If somebody's brought 50 frivolous suits and then all of them get shot down and then they bring 10 more, you're like, oh, well, we should wait and review those 10 first before we have a decision on whether or not they're frivolous or not.
Nope.
Well, then we get into Destiny's point, which is your standard is so easily overcome by bad faith, just filing of pro forma lawsuits.
The examples you've given, I'd grant immediately if they happened.
Any amount of bad faith beforehand. And guess what? In determining bad faith, a reasonable person, just like me, just like you, just like everybody, is going to determine all of the mindsets and actions and lies previously made. So when I'm determining whether, I think that this might or may not be a frivolous challenge or whatever, I'm going to think about and look to what has Trump done in the past to make me think he's the kind of person who would do frivolous things to try to steal the election. Maybe the fact that before the election even happened, he was saying it was going to be voter fraud. Maybe the fact that he declared victory on the night of the election. Maybe all of the BS bullshit that we don't even get into this whole entire time. And you are going to give him every benefit of the doubt possible.
Why? What am I giving the benefit of the doubt for?
You think that you're going to imply or impute to him good faith?
I'm trying to say that I'm not deciding I mind read it. I'm saying that, so when each of these challenge came in, I did not read every single pleading. I thought anyone without ever even reading the pleading was fucking retarded to be like, well, this is frivolous. Well, what was in it? I have no fucking clue, like you guys. And I'm going, well, I don't know if I have enough. I'm saying, so you want to know what answer would change me? So each of these things pointed out, I assume they're in the pleadings. If I went through each pleading and I read through each one and said, the SOS alters setting verifications, and I read through it and go, that's complete bullshit. There is nothing wrong with the verification requirements. I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. Well, that one goes, okay, that sounds like that's bad faith and lying. The portable polling places targeted heavily Democrat areas. If that goes, that wasn't even true. They actually were majority and Republican. Well, damn, now they're, I think they're really fucking lying. Refusal by the state judiciary to decide. So if I went through the pleadings, but I haven't been, but either you.
Here's the question then.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Here's the question then. Would it have been possible at the time this memo was written to know whether it was in good or bad faith?
I don't know which challenges were outstanding.
Assume
if none of these were outstanding, so if all of these had been adjudicated, then I would immediately say yes, all bad faith.
Why? I mean, why does the filing of it? What if it's pending?
Because that's their. I know if it's pending, then yes, then there could be some legal reason.
So you would agree, right? So if you filed, let's say that I'm.
Would you say the opposite? Would you guys both hold the opposite of that, saying there's no
circumstance? I think given all the conduct here, I think given all the conduct of Trump and everything that went on with the 2020 election, I think you'd have to be a brainless moron like you to think that I'm going to assume, a blank slate, tabula rasa, every time he files a lawsuit. And be like, I guess we can't determine whether his overall effort to undo the election is in good or bad faith because we can never know. This election might be okay. So I mean, here's the question, right? Like, if there's not enough time, if he files it on January 19th and tries to steal the election at that point, because there's not enough time for there to be an adjudication, you would say, well, it's pending, so he might have a basis here.
No, it gets resolved. That's what happened with that's what the whole thing with Al V. Gore. They got rid of it before. I mean, Bush did win,
so but assume that this is happening.
There's a reason that even if you find out, let's say we found out information now that it was fucking fake, it still was right to throw out all these cases, and it was right to put in Biden.
You just say random things. I'm talking about the mental state of Donald Trump.
Yes.
Don't say it was no one. Sorry. No one is talking about it was right to throw it out, right to throw it in. You just you just about irrelevant things. No, I'm looking to his state of mind, and I'm giving you an example of when you file a lawsuit that it's not even possible to.
It's not timely, sure.
Dispose it up. No, stop. It's not. You can't dispose of it in time. I don't mean it like not timely as in a lot of these are untimely, right? These are all past the date for certification. So by definition, a lot of these are untimely, okay? The date for contested. So if that's our standard, then all of these are bullshit because you're never going to get a remedy that's going to give you back the election, okay? But
so wait. Can I then give you a hypothetical that you'd have to say no? We'd have to give the election. Sure. So just because so the whole Dominion voting thing, they got a whole. So now Trump actually illegally obtained the software, I think, and so but Georgia I think is still using that software. So if in the next election, let's say suddenly he wins, but it doesn't seem like, and it goes, all the Dominion machines seem to be dominantly heavily favoring Trump way beyond what was ever expected. And so there's an investigation into going like, wait a second, were these hacked? Like, heck, fucking Trump had he pulled them. We knew these things were compromised. You shouldn't have fucking kept them on board. And now we have something fucking weird going on. And now, however, they're not going to find that we are analyzing, we will know on January 12th for certain whether or not these were hacked and given to Trump. Let's say the answer is yes, they were hacked and given to Trump. However, with Georgia's votes, Trump is going to become president. So on January 6th, do they swear in Trump, who illegally got those votes, as president? Because delaying it, they won't be done timely. You won't have an answer. So you have to swear in Trump.
The answer is, if you are unable to succeed on the legal challenges related to your claims, right? If you sit on them, right? This is Al Gore all over again, right? Al Gore, there are arguments that he won the election. If you are unable to using the legal channels afforded to you,
in a timely manner, then you lose. And
then you lose. So if there's an election contest that says we're unable to determine fraud until January 12th, maybe I can imagine you advocating for Congress to, listen, there's going to be a dispositive thing on this date. It's been able to survive a motion to dismiss, and so there's sufficient record. The burden of proof would be on me to demonstrate my good faith in maintaining my challenge, notwithstanding the fact that I'm going to be going over those deadlines. But if I'm going to orchestrate,
you want to delay an official, you want to commit a coup. That's a delay. You're delaying the election. You're calling off you're trying to say we shouldn't hold this thing. I would agree. The entire House, everyone, Republicans, Democrats go, there is a serious, everyone agrees. And you're saying we should delay it to the 12th? Should we do it or not?
But hang on Trump in. But hang on a second. So Congress is given a role here under the Constitution of the United States to have some power to decide whether or not you're going to accept or reject that kind of thing. They're given a role and, query whether the Electoral Count Act is a constitutional act, but regardless of whether or not you think so, there's no role for the vice president here. What's the role?
So if he has the electors in front of him, should he count them for Trump and sign him in, or should he delay?
He should count the votes in front of him.
And therefore he swears in Trump, and then on the 12th we find out.
Do you think that the vice president has the authority to make substantive decisions about the counting or non-counting of electoral votes that are properly ascertained in front of him?
On his own, no.
Okay, so then by definition, by definition, don't you believe that the effort to get Vice President Pence
to unilaterally
reject electoral votes
is a coup?
Do you agree with that?
Yep, that Part C of the war thing is a coup.
And you agree that Trump did that?
I agree that he.
Oh wait, you know what? That's enough for me.
Sure.
Okay, let's have that. Okay. Also, just as a quick thing, because I did look up this first case because I was curious.
Sure.
And I'm fucking retarded because I didn't even know what the abbreviations were for. ND Georgia. I thought that this was a case that they had filed in Georgia that was challenging some part of the election procedure because of what was written under A1, A2, A3. That's not. This is a district court that they filed this case in because they weren't happy with the election challenges that they made in the state of Georgia. So they filed a federal case in the district court in order to just throw out the election result. That's the case that's being cited here in this Trump versus Kemp et al. In the NDGA is the Northern District of Georgia, if I'm understanding that correctly, right? Northern District of Georgia is federal court. Okay.
It was filed on December 31st.
Yeah. Which is part of what the judge brings up is how late the filings are and all of this.
You can't do that. You can't just cite something. Really? Are you going to file something on after the Electoral College has met? You understand that, right? So this is filed after the Electoral College is met.
Which is why
and your response is, I'm just going to assume good faith on the filers.
I'm not assuming good faith. I'm saying that if you want to say that they should lose in all these, they should. What happened was so when the pleadings happened, all I said was if the courts throw them all out, that's fine.
Wait, no, but this isn't a matter of whether they should. No, this isn't
a.
Wait. It's not a matter of whether they should win or lose. It's a matter of if you're legal counsel and you're looking at these challenges, what do you think is going to happen? It's pretty obvious that like they're fucked on this. This isn't even going to survive pretrial. This isn't going to court at all. This is fucking retarded. That any reasonable legal person would probably look at these challenges. At least the one I just looked up under Georgia.
Yes, I think I haven't seen a single one where I'm like this. I agree with this one. Like I said, that I disagree with every single part of it.
Okay.
I'm saying not. At no point am I saying
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
think they're right.
So let's. Okay.
I'm
So let's.
saying that I have. Sure.
Wait. Okay. So let's say. Okay. So then, but that's okay. So
if I went through each one of these.
Okay. No, we don't need to go there. Okay. That's fine.
Sure.
Okay. So we agree that Trump creates an alternate slates of electors for 7 states. We do agree on that, right? Okay.
Yep.
When Donald Trump, we agree that Donald Trump holds a rally on January 6th, right? Wait. I'm sorry. Before that, we agree that Donald Trump asks Pence to choose his electors, right?
It's unclear. I've read Pence's interviews. He seems to be saying like, and Eastman's things. I'm not 100%. Like,
this is what happened. So
wait. You don't think that? Wait. What do you think Trump was talking to Pence about then? That was so controversial.
These options. That's why the last note from Eastman to Pence was to try and delay for like 10 days or whatever for something.
Okay, so you agree that Donald Trump was not
delaying giving it to him though.
Wait,
like if
Donald Trump was not talking to Pence to do his ordinary duty, it was to do something extraordinary.
Correct.
Yes, it was to do what's in this wargaming
do something illegal, right?
Wait. Well, hold on. We're not even at that part yet.
That I view is wrong, legally incorrect.
Okay. Not even worrying about that. Okay, right. Some of it, at least what's mentioned in this memo, is trying to get Trump to win the election. Okay, so we agree that Trump asks Pence to choose his electors. We agree that Trump holds a rally on January 6th. We agree with that, right?
Yes.
Do you agree that during the speech to his people, Donald Trump tells them that we need to make sure that they choose the right slate of electors and that they need to go to Congress and make their voice heard, right?
Yes. In that speech, can you point to me where he says Pence should count my electors, not his, on his own unilaterally?
Wait a second. Are you denying that he asked Pence to do that?
I'm saying that's option
Are you
C
denying that he asked Pence to do that? Yes or no?
That in addition to other things, which
would be sorry. Are you denying, yes or no, that he asked Pence to do that?
I mean, if my only answers are yes or no, then I guess I have to answer no if you won't accept more than a yes or no answer.
Well, what other answer?
The answer is no. The closest thing I can get to. If you will only let me have one word, then I have to go with how far it goes in that direction. So I guess no is right.
Okay, so here's a couple things, okay? So one of the things that Trump said in the speech on the 6th is, and I'll tell you, thank you very much, John. Fantastic job. I watched. That's a tough act to follow. Those two. John is one of the most brilliant lawyers in the country, and he looked at this and he said, what an absolute disgrace that can be happening to our Constitution. And he looked at Mike Pence, and I hope Mike is going to do the right thing. I hope so. I hope so. Okay, that was one thing that he said in the speech. And then another thing that he said was, anyone you want, but I think right here, we're going to walk down to the Capitol. We're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong. We have come to demand that Congress do the right thing and only count the electors who have been lawfully slated. Lawfully slated.
Yep.
Okay.
Which he did.
Oh my God.
Wait. So do you agree that he is, in this speech, calling for his people to go down and protest at the Capitol building to get Pence to count his slates of electors?
Or to adjourn to separate chambers and decide which slate of electors to count.
That's not what he just said.
Part B, that's fit within it. Say that you should only count the legitimate ones.
Steven just asked you a question.
And Part B.
Steven just asked you. Do you remember what Steven just asked you?
You keep ignoring the other A and B. I'm not
no, wait. What do you think?
Steven, wait. Stop, Steven. Steven just asked you a question. Can you even recall what he just asked you?
He asked me, he said, do you agree that he told him to march down there to only count, to do the right thing? And he goes, and don't you agree that that means he wants him to count their slate of electors?
So you agree, it does say that.
And you ignore A, B,
correct?
and D. And so as long as you keep saying,
but why won't
you go blinders on, I can't believe you.
Well, no, wait, let's just have a frank conversation.
Fine, if you're
wait, stop. Just a frank conversation, ignoring all the whatever bullshit, okay? When he says Mike Pence needs to come through for us, and he says Congress should need to do the right thing, only count the electors been lawfully slated, what do you think Trump is saying there?
It could be B, C, or D.
No, I'm asking you as a human being, what do you think Trump said there?
He doesn't give me enough words to distinguish between A, B, C.
So
C,
a man who has spent, we all agree that he got seven alternate. He got 7 alternate slates of electors after the states wouldn't change their votes, and then he has private conversations with Pence to certify his electors, and then he holds a rally on January 6th, and then he says Pence needs to do the right thing. What about afterwards? What about afterwards? Did Donald Trump say that Mike Pence failed us? What was he referring to there?
B, C, or D. You're gonna have blinders on and only.
Wait. When he says that, but you just said you said that Mike Pence did end up certifying the correct things. When Trump tweeted, Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what should have been done. What's he referring to there?
B, C, and D.
Well, no. Wait, what did he not? Wait, B, C.
Because that would be the same one. So if he goes, I have objections. I want you separate chambers to decide which one to count. The state then certifies and goes, no, ours are the ones for Biden.
Okay,
and
that's
Biden
fine. Okay, I understand. So you're saying, okay,
finish.
yep, I understand. Okay, what would you need to see as evidence besides a direct confession to convince you that the goal was C?
Statement from Pence.
So you would need a direct.
This is a statement from Pence. This is a statement from Pence. Ready? So you know that he sent a letter on January 6th.
Yep, I'm aware of the letter. I'm aware of seeing multiple interviews that seem to have, like, he opens it and then it also says that people are misquoting him. I can't find a concrete statement from him. If you have one, show it to me.
Would you agree that a concrete statement from Mike Pence would be the letter that he signed and distributed on January 6th?
So long as he doesn't try to contradict it at some point else, then yes.
Are you fucking serious?
What? You're telling me, why would I accept your one versus some other one? If he says something before saying, yeah, he wants me to try and delay it, and then he goes, and then on 6 he goes, yeah, he wants me to delay, he wants me to choose his electors.
This is where we're at right now. So Zetsu is saying a signed letter from Mike Pence, because it's possible he could be later on saying, well, let me finish my sentence.
I believe you I found out
just because it's possible that someone later could be like pointing a gun at him and he said, actually, I was under duress, that's why I wrote it, and so therefore you should disregard everything that's in there.
Yeah, wait, Pence says under here, he says, Pence says, given the controversy surrounding this year's election, some approach this year's quadrennial tradition with great expectation and others with dismissive disdain. Some believe that as vice president, I should be able to accept or reject electoral votes unilaterally. Who do you think he's talking about there?
I'm agreeing. I didn't say, I'm not putting blinders on for any of them. I don't know why your only options are either it's only C and we pretend B and D don't exist, or obviously Zetsu only thinks B and D exist and can't imagine C. I do view C as being
because the chances of the other two being what has happened here asymptotically approaches 0. Like, no human being in good faith would look at any of this collectively and go like,
someone in the middle of December, the president began to tell me that I had some authority to reject or return votes back to the states.
Okay,
why would he say? Why would he return them back to the states?
Wait, why would he return it back to the states? Because part of the coup attempt was returning it back to the state delegation of the House.
Yes.
That's not choosing his. Why would you return a vote?
Wait,
choose it on his own. You're saying that never happened. You said he wasn't even an idea in their head.
Wait, hold on, wait.
You denied that, and it's right there.
Denied what?
You deny. You're saying that the only option they ever considered was rejecting the vote.
Correct.
He never said anything else. He never said return them back to the states. That was never spoken. You agree?
No, you don't. Hold on. I'm sorry. Wait, no. Stop. You don't understand. Return them back to the states does not mean, in Eastman's plot, it doesn't mean return them back to the House and Senate to debate over the electoral votes. It means to throw out the electoral... What?
House votes to, like, VP Pence opens the ballots, receives objections to the 7 states with multiple ballots. The 2 bodies adjourn to their separate chambers and decide which slate of electors to count. House votes to count the Biden slate. Senate votes to count the Biden slate as well.
That's not what he's talking about.
Biden wins.
That's not what No. What he's talking about is to send it back to the House delegation, where the delegation chooses the president, where they've moved beyond the electoral votes. That's what he's talking about.
Where do you have that written? Because that's not written here as what their plan was.
Do you know what happens when nobody gets a majority in the Electoral College?
Yeah, they go to the top 3 vote getters, and I think is it the House, the Senate that votes off. Each person gets 1 vote, and they choose the top 3 vote getters for the people, and then they do the same thing for the top 2 for VP.
Do you understand that? Is it the House that votes? Or
actually, I'm sorry, hold on. Also, I'm sorry, wait, I can just read it from here. Okay, under C, you said all of them would be coups, okay? C3 is what I'm talking about. Alternatively, VP Pence determines that because multiple electors were appointed from the 7 states, but not counted because of ongoing election disputes, neither candidate has the necessary 270 elector votes, throwing the election to the House. Not the determination of the electorate slates, but throwing the election to the House. If the Republicans in the state delegation stand firm, the vote there is 26 states for Trump, 23 for Biden, and 1 split vote. Trump wins. That's not the... Yes.
That's
Yeah,
what they
I
want.
agree.
That's what
wanted.
Pence is talking about.
Pence, again, return to the state isn't mentioned there. But you're saying that, so now you're saying
No,
that
that is what return to the states is. That's literally what it is.
It's not being returned to the states because they're not getting it back. It's not going back to them. They're choosing now.
If the Republicans it's the state delegation to the states in the House, the states.
If no one gets a majority in the Electoral College, it votes by state delegation. Do you understand that? You know what that?
I don't think you think that when they say return to the states, he means return to Congress or returns it over
Yes.
to Congress. I don't know. That's not even returning it then. You're not returning it to anyone.
So hang on a second.
my-
Do you understand that if no one gets a majority, it goes to the
They
state delegation?
give it to the. Wait, do you agree they don't return it to them? They give it to the Congress.
Yes, but they vote
So they
by.
don't return it to the
They
states.
vote by House delegation. Do you know what that means when I say that?
Yes.
What does it mean?
And you know it means it doesn't mean return to the states, right?
Wait. Can you explain what it means when we say it goes to the state delegations?
It would go so. Because I remember so each person gets a vote. I don't recall exactly who they. But it is.
You don't even understand the
House.
plan. Number one. So what it means is each.
It's written, dude.
I'm saying Zetsu, you don't understand your own country, how they resolve electoral disputes if no one reaches a majority. Right?
I don't
You
recall
don't
the
understand
specific,
it.
Really?
And
So I have
if
no
you don't
idea,
understand
really,
it, wait, no, and if you don't understand it, that means you don't
I quoted
understand.
the whole thing. I said
Wait,
I wasn't
if you-
specifically sure which one was
if-
so
if
of the
you
people who were
don't
voting, I know
understand-
they returned it to Congress.
if
I
you
don't
don't
recall whether it was the
understand-
House, it was the Senate, and
If
you're like,
you don't
therefore, if you don't know
understand,
that-
if you don't
Unbelievable.
understand, if you do not understand
I do.
how it is that your country resolves disputes where there's no majority in the electoral college, if you don't understand that, you don't understand Eastman's plan.
Wait,
And
just so we're clear then. So you're saying that if any individual we ask, if they can't quote directly how we do it, you would dismiss every opinion they have.
So sorry. I'm not asking you
You're
to
saying
quote
that
directly.
I don't
I'm
know.
asking you the mechanic of
Did
how.
I not tell you? I said what happens. I said,
but
well,
I'm
it
not-
has to be returned to votes. I'm like, who is it? I can't recall who it goes to, but each person, I think it's each. Either each state gets one vote and they go with the majority. They go with the top three.
The reason why Destiny's
VP,
question,
and you're like, you have no fucking clue. Apparently, I'm just like they go on a merry-go-round and just wherever the fuck it lands.
the reason why Destiny's question is such a good one is it shows the poverty of your analysis, because if you understood what it meant to vote by House delegation, you would understand that the Republicans controlled House delegations
They do
at the
yes,
time.
I'm aware.
Okay, so if there's
Did I
no
say I didn't know
majority, if there's no majority at the time that Vice Pence is
Counting the electoral votes.
reportedly counting electoral votes, Trump wins the election. It doesn't go back to state houses.
Yes, I agreed. That's a coup.
Wait, so then what part of Pence's letter here seems to imply anything different happening that you were screaming about?
I'm saying that from what I've seen of Pence, and that argument seems to be referencing the other parts. That goes that if it goes return it to the state means going back to the states and just having them go like, yeah, no, that's my electors.
Wait.
then
Where
that's
does
fine.
Pence ever imply that?
All I have is a sentence. I'm having to base everything
Wait,
off of that.
which
and you want me to
sentence?
mind read Trump
Wait,
on
I'm
it.
sorry, hold on. What sentence? What is the sentence? I'll search for the sentence.
From sometime in the middle of December, the president began to be told, and I had some authority to reject or return votes back to the states.
Middle of December is different than the January 6th. Yes, before the
I
date
know.
of the
I'm saying,
electoral
I
college,
would
they were
need to
making
see all
efforts
the
to
other
return
ones.
it.
I'm saying I've looked up several. Like I don't have all of them in front of me. I can look up more in
They
general.
had a bunch of plans at different times. So they had plans before the electoral college met. They had plans before. They were trying to get states to rescind their electoral votes. Then they were trying to stop the electoral college from meeting. So at different stages, they had different plans. But right at the end, it was no basis for the states to ever receive the electoral votes. If there was no majority, it goes to the delegations. That's it. And even if you were right, by the way, even if you were right that the plan was to send them to the state houses, that is the states themselves, that's still a coup, right? Imagine if I were to say, okay, Joe Biden was democratically elected. Everyone agrees. All the challenges fail. We're just going to delay it. We'll just delay it 5 days. We'll just delay it 100 days.
For what?
We'll just delay it 150 days.
Then yes, I'd say if you delayed it 100 or 150 days. If you delayed it to say like again, but the example I even gave you one. You said yes, you can delay 6 days if everyone fucking agrees.
Okay, wait, but also the final part here, okay, because Pisco is wrong, okay? Pisco said that this was a coup, but it wasn't a coup because as part of this coup, Donald Trump utilized the crowd that he explicitly called them to apply pressure to Pence and Congress to go through with the coup, and to utilize violence while doing so is what they ended up doing. What was obviously going to happen makes it an insurrection. That's my whole point. And every single step here is so clearly enunciated, just short of an actual confession from every single actor involved. Every part is here for it to be like clearly an insurrection. I don't understand how you can possibly not have that. Like there's no part missing.
No one on the ground believes it was. Why would I believe you?
Wait.
People,
No one on the ground-
wait. Hold on. People on the ground. Hold on. That's not the question. People on the ground were holding up. People on the ground were holding up signs that said 1776. What are they referring to there?
The Declaration of Independence, us rebelling, going to war against a tyrannical...
Going to war against the government. What is that?
Yep.
It's an insurrection.
Yep.
They're holding up signs saying insurrection, going to the Capitol to protest the... All of this is an insurrection.
Any protest, if I find if I can go to anything and show you a sign that says something that I think is illegal. So, example, if there was ever a protest or whatever they said,
that was the overwhelming sentiment. Stop
you
this.
would instantly say they're all. I can start shooting.
That was
them
the
all.
overwhelming.
They're trying to murder cops.
If you can find me a place
why
where,
did you tell me a sign?
If people, it wasn't a sign.
You just said a sign.
Do you think there was just
one example
person with one sign?
It's showing the overwhelming sentiment. It's showing the sentiment of the time, what they were trying to do.
I don't accept the overall.
They were trying
I never did that with fucking BLM.
Okay, all right.
So, trying to say that they're all trying to kill all cops. I was like, no, they're not.
We're gonna do brass tacks.
We're
gonna do brass tacks.
I don't care that they're chanting.
That's it. Was the Civil War an insurrection?
Yes.
Okay. Do you agree?
Whiskey Rebellion.
Okay. Do you agree or do you not agree there that the people in the Civil War on the Confederacy, a lot of them, most of them, thought that what they were doing was perfectly legal?
The same sense that not legal, but I think they were doing it illegal, but they were doing the same thing that they'd done before.
No. They knew what they were doing. They thought and believed strongly.
We knew we were illegal.
Hang on. They believed strongly that what they were doing was legal, correct?
No. What grounds did they give to them? Say, like, under the U.S. Constitution, we can secede?
Yes, they believe that they had the right to secede.
The right not the legal right, though. We don't.
Yes,
we didn't
the legal
have,
right.
When we declared, no, they didn't have the legal right. We didn't think so when we declared
They
independence.
believe,
it was an insurrection. We rebelled against them. We had no legal right to do so. We said, fuck them. We're doing it anyways.
You understand that the people in the Civil War, the Confederacy, believed that they had the absolute legal right to secede from the Union, correct?
I'm not. What? Okay, where in the Constitution does it say you can secede from the Union?
I'm not asking you where it says. Where does it say you can go over in the Capitol? That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, do you agree or do you not agree that they believed that what they were doing was legal, the Confederacy? Not whether it was plausible, whether they believed it.
No.
They did believe it.
No, wait, hold on. No, wait, this is so important. Wait, why do you not believe it?
What did they appeal to? Where in the Constitution did they appeal to?
Okay, hold on, wait. Okay, hold on.
Why we're doing it.
That's great. Okay, hold on. So the entire argument is over, okay?
Sure.
Do you understand that when it comes to the Civil War example, you're not content to take them at their word. You're actually demanding a legal argument that would survive to justify seceding.
Yes.
But when it came time for Eastman, you were content to go with any citation that he had, even if it was citing district court cases, asking for a state to overturn an election. Why is your standard of evidence for the Civil War people? Well, no, actually, I need a whole fucking thesis for how this works as an argument. But for Eastman, a person that literally was handpicked by Trump to have these legal theories, you're like, well, he's probably acting in good faith. Why the difference of evidence? Why the different standards there?
There isn't one, and he met it at one point. Do you remember? Can you recall this?
Okay, hold on, wait. Okay, I was mistaken. I'm sorry. I was mistaken. There's not a different standard. Show me in this 6-page Eastman memo where in the Constitution he is justifying his act that the vice president can unilaterally pick any of those things in Section C.
He's citing 12th Amendment for that one. I would have to go watch his interview again. I disagree with everything he's saying, but
hold on, wait. So because he says, because he just says 12th Amendment, giving, by the way, a novel reading that no Supreme.
So if you try and say that I don't think it's a coup, fuck
okay,
you.
So then if we go back to the Civil War people, if any of them said, "Oh, we think we have the right to secede because of one amendment or whatever," you'd say, "Oh, okay, never mind." In that case, they did think.
No, I wouldn't. You just did it again. Wow, it's funny that I can say like something like, "Hey, don't do this thing." And like, I think it's a coup. Don't say I don't think it's a coup. And you're like, you don't think it's a coup. I can literally say what you're gonna do. Say like
you're yapping right now. You're filibustering. He asked you a question. Why don't you apply the same standard to Civil War people? If they give a pro forma citation to a constitutional principle, which they did, why isn't that enough for you?
Because it's not enough in here either.
It is enough.
All he does is say C is a coup. Do you hear me? I need you to repeat. You guys clearly. Which one of these? Maybe my mic's cutting out. Part C, even though he cites 12th Amendment, would be a coup. If he did anything, if he tried to unilaterally throw them out, I don't care what the fuck he cites, it's a coup. Do you hear those words? I need you guys to say that you hear those words from me.
Okay, but every single thing that they did in all of these processes were pointing towards them trying to do C. That's what they were trying to do.
That's what I've been trying to fucking find. I just want to find something from fucking Pence. I bought a stupid fucking book to try and read it because the problem is when I'm
you can
reading,
literally
and when
read his
interviews.
No, fuck the interviews. You can read his memo on January 6th where he says people were telling me that I had the right to unilaterally throughout the election or send about it. He says I don't think I have the right to do that.
To the states, and the problem is that seems to be referring to B and D, which I wouldn't say are coups.
Wait. Why isn't B a coup?
B would be a coup because it says that there are objections. He goes, there are objections. They send it to the two bodies, and that then, like the Democrats, they validate and say, yeah, those other ones are not valid. These are the correct ones. Biden wins. How is that a coup? If Biden wins, how is it a coup? All three of B says
you
Biden
agree
wins.
you agree that Trump wasn't trying to make Biden win, right? Do you agree with that?
No, I do agree that he thinks there's a chance
stop.
win. Yes.
I just want to repeat back.
He wasn't trying to.
Wait. Do you think that he was trying to make Biden win in any regard, even 1%?
No. Why would he?
Yes. So
why would he be trying to make him win?
So what are the conversations about?
Biden's victory is not what he was trying to do, correct?
He was trying to get.
I'm going to ask one more time.
Sorry.
Anything that involves a plan where the end result is Biden victory is by definition not what Donald Trump was trying to do, correct?
He wasn't trying to, but I think he could accept the outcome of it. He accepted that was a possible outcome of his actions.
So you would agree, wouldn't you, that if the plan ended in Biden's victory,
yep,
that is not what Donald Trump was trying to do?
It's not what he would want.
Well, if the plan inexorably leads to his victory, isn't that exactly what he wouldn't want?
It's not what he would want.
Okay, so this is what he wanted.
Why would he want it?
When he wanted a thing, he was taking concrete steps to make that thing happen, right?
Yeah, the thing he wanted were the things listed here. Those things he wanted may end with Biden winning, even if he didn't want it to.
That's not what he wanted, though. When he made the 7 elector slates, it was for him to win. They were all filled out in his name. When he went and spoke, when he went and he spoke to Pence, it wasn't so Pence would count the ordinary slates. It was so that he would count his slates. When he mentions to Pence, maybe you can throw it back to the House delegation. It wasn't so that they could choose legit.
House delegation. You're adding words to it to make yours. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's fine because you're gonna keep adding words to what they're saying to make.
So what you're doing.
Okay, wait. So what is the percentage? What is the percentage that you think that Donald Trump's goal from start to finish was for him to be illegitimately chosen as the president of the United States? What do you think are the percentage chances that was his goal from start to finish?
45% is probably what I give it.
Holy shit. Dude. Okay, so then for you, there is no whatever.
You can tip it pretty, like it wouldn't take much to, like I said, I'm trying to find something to tip me over the fit. Like I think.
No. Just to be clear, my percentage is like 98. Okay, if you're at 45% that you think that like he was trying to get them to do something illegitimate to table him as the president.
The fact that C is even listed means that, yeah, I would give it like that, and that it would, if I had anything that just says anything, fucking anything, that would just say B and D weren't even on the table. Like, no, that's a smokescreen. It was always, but then the question is, why the fuck was C even listed? If it's a smokescreen, why is it listed?
Maybe you don't understand the English language. Do you understand like what wargaming means and alternatives means? It doesn't mean that each one of these is what he's planning, right? You agree that A, he's not planning A, right?
He's not planning any of them, correct. It doesn't list what the actual plan is.
Like when you wargame things, wargaming by definition is usually when people are like preparing for the worst. Like, okay, this is what we want to happen, but like let's wargame if like other shit happens.
If this happens.
This is what you're trying to avoid.
Option, sure.
So he was trying to avoid A, correct?
Yep. It's a potential option.
So A's out, right? He was trying
out. It's in. It's trying to avoid it, for sure.
No, but this is not what he wanted.
Yes.
Yeah.
He doesn't
he's
want
not,
A.
None of his efforts should be construed as him attempting to do A. Right?
The outcome of A. He's not trying to do the outcome of A.
He doesn't want VP Pence to open ballots, count those certified by the state executive, and does not receive any objections meeting requirements.
Yes. Anything that lists Biden winnings, he does not want.
Okay,
but I will not throw them out and say that
so for example,
accept it.
He's not asking Pence, open these up, count them fairly. He's not asking that. Correct?
He's not asking. Yeah, no, he would say he wants whatever B, C, and D.
Okay.
I think specifically he wants C.
Let's talk about B.
That's what he wants the most because it leads to him winning all the time.
No, I'm not saying what he wants. What is he planning for? What is he trying to achieve?
Or actually here, on this line of questioning, hold on. In all the things we've spoken to up to this point, has Donald Trump taken actions to ensure A will happen?
No.
Okay.
So
has he taken actions to ensure that
it's not off the table?
Has he?
It did happen.
A is not off the table.
No.
It happened. It's what fucking happened. You're saying it's off the table?
Sorry. We're not talking about what actually happened. You dumb piece of shit. We're talking about what Trump is planning for.
what he
You
wants.
understand that?
You keep switching between what he's planning for and what he wants and what's actually could happen.
It's all synonymous in my head. We're talking about his efforts, what he was attempting to achieve, and the means he was using to achieve them.
He is wargaming to try and go. Each of these are a pathway, and he wants the pathways that lead to anyone here that says Trump wins.
He's not.
But I'm saying, like, what is he, of all the things listed, what has he taken active measures to try to push them towards? It's not A. It's not really B. It's definitely C. That's what he's.
D2.
Wait. So let's look at D.
D2.
All right, D. VP Pence determines the ongoing election challenges must conclude before ballots can be counted and adjourns the joint session of Congress, determining that the time restrictions in the Electoral Count Act are contrary to his authority under the 12th Amendment and therefore void. So you agree right off the bat he would be asking VP Pence to do something illegal, correct?
And that was the thing you were okay with before either as well.
What do you mean?
What?
I'm okay with that?
The hypothetical I gave you where I said we can delay 6 days. You agreed with that as well.
That would be to go into Congress, right? You agree with that? When I said that, that's what I said, and not the VP?
That would be like, it doesn't say.
Sorry, we're now asking what you agree I said. So do you agree that I said at no time did I say VP would, this is what I would want? You agree that what you just said was
I wouldn't
wrong?
want it?
Wait,
I said
you
would be okay with it.
No, wait. Okay, so we're going to stop.
Did you
We're
not?
We're going to stop.
Sure.
Do you believe at any time I said it would be okay for the VP unilaterally to adjourn the joint session of Congress?
Why'd you add in the word unilaterally?
Because that's
Why
the
does it
word
matter? Why does it matter? Even if it wasn't unilateral, who cares?
Do you think
can't
that
do
do you think that I ever thought that the VP was the one who should make the decision?
Nope. Doesn't change anything what I said. It's irrelevant.
So what you just said isn't this what you wanted? No, you agree that that's not what I said or wanted.
Nor was, I know, you changed it to something that you didn't.
No, I didn't change it at all. I said, wait, do you recall?
And they delay, yes or no? If the answer is yes, then you
are okay with it.
I don't care why.
Who would I say would be the only one in that situation that I'd want to delay?
The VP and Congress combined?
No. I never said VP at all.
How would VP? Wait, how?
You have mental problems. I don't know what to say. You don't remember me saying Congress specifically and going out of my way to say it's not the VP?
How would they? Wait. How would they do it? So
Congress,
VP has the
I would
electoral
want,
college votes.
in that
He's
situation,
him. What would they do to him?
In that situation, I would ask for Congress to pass the new law and amend the Electoral Count Act for the specific procedures. If that were the situation, and it would have to rise to a certain credible level where it's like, oh my God, what are you talking about?
Because again, if he's sitting there with them, counting them, how is Congress going to stop him? You're saying pass a law. How the hell are they going to pass a law in seconds before he finishes counting?
Jesus Christ!
His job is ceremonial.
Oh my God!
All he can do is count. That's your position.
You gave a situation where there was an election challenge that was like highly tested to with Dominion voting, with Dominion voting stuff, and I said, okay, in those dire circumstances, I could see a role for Congress to pass a law to pass a law. And at no point did I say the VP would unilaterally do it.
I'm not saying he said unilaterally. I'm saying if that happened and VP, and here we are on Electoral College Day, Trump, he has the Electoral College votes. He's counting them. He's doing his symbolic duty. What would Congress do to delay the vote?
No, at that point, Congress is the one. They would raise objections. Anyway. And also, furthermore, it's a joint session of Congress. It's a joint session of Congress. They could delay the proceedings other ways. There's other mechanical ways for Congress to be in charge of the situation here. And it is only in the most dire of circumstances where you're giving me this crazy hypothetical that is not at all on all fours with what's happening here. But at no point did I say that the VP would do it by himself. You agree with that, right?
Yep, you keep changing it to that, I know.
Wait, changing what to what?
I never said you said that.
Sentence. Wait, hang on. The first sentence of D says, VP Pence determines that the ongoing election challenges must conclude and adjourns the joint session of Congress.
Yep.
You agree, this is unilateral, yes or no?
Yep, not relevant,
okay.
Sure.
What do you mean it's not relevant?
Because I would say that they can do the same thing. I don't think you should, but the idea of saying that if he adjourns it and they don't like it, then they can just affirm the fucking electors and then Biden wins. Just like he won. Do
you think the VP has the unilateral power to adjourn the session?
Nope.
Then, okay, so you agree that this would be not okay under your vision.
I would argue it.
You would argue what?
I would argue no. I would argue that no, he can't do that.
You think it's possible that the VP could, on his own discretion, unilaterally and for an unspecified amount of time, delay the joint session of Congress to count electoral votes?
I think it's retarded to argue it, but
you believe that that's even a colorable potential argument that is not frivolous? You think it's possible? You think it's conceivable that the VP could delay indefinitely the joint session? That's what we're talking about here.
No, you're right. No, yeah.
Yes, I am right.
I would argue you can't. Frivolous. Fuck.
It is frivolous, isn't it? It's frivolous to suggest that the VP has the power to delay whenever he wants on his own discretion the joint session for counting electoral votes, right? That's frivolous. Why can't I get you to agree to this?
Because I'm reading. Because
what do you have to read?
To read
Were you
the
born
12th
in this
Amendment,
country? You understand democracy?
Wait, no. Fine. Word for word. Quote me for the 12th Amendment. Don't fucking look it up. Start talking now. Word for word. Sentence for sentence.
I'm not gonna pretend.
You fucking
to do
piece
this.
of shit. You don't even know what you're talking about. You don't even know the law.
You think it's possible?
You don't know.
think it's possible?
You don't know what 12th Amendment is.
You think it's possible that the VP would have the unilateral authority? You think it's possible the VP has unilateral authority to delay the joint session of Congress
if it delayed for 5 minutes?
Indefinitely?
No.
For 5 minutes?
Yeah, actually, I'm sorry. Would you say it's a coup with 5 minutes?
I would say that if you want to adjourn,
you would do all this over 5 minutes.
If you want to adjourn,
you're insane.
Adjourn the joint session of Congress. I think that's an act for Congress.
You just said 5 minutes. You agree? So you would say you do all this over 5 minutes. If all that happened was 5 minutes were delayed, you'd still say
we know what we're talking about here. We know what we're talking about here.
You agree.
This plan is not for. This plan is not for 5 minutes. And I just told you I don't think that the vice president should have the authority to adjourn unilaterally the joint session of Congress. I just told you that. I do not believe he has that authority. I think it's ridiculous to think he has that authority. Where is it specified? So you agree, right? This first sentence is already bad, right? Is it bad or not?
Yes, it's bad to the same extent that being bad, even if they all agreed, it technically is still illegal.
Dude.
You
have brainworms. You have brainworms. So no, right. I don't agree with that.
Show me in the Constitution. Show me in the Constitution where it says they can agree to delay this.
The Congress? Even if
all three of them. Yeah, so show me in Article 12 on the 12th Amendment that it says, yeah, you have to meet here and count on this day unless you really don't feel like it. Show me that sentence.
Isn't that in the Electoral Count Act for how they're supposed to delay it if they need to? Oh, that was part of the ECA.
Well, there's a question because the Electoral Count Act has never been tested against the 12th Amendment. Yeah. And there are some issues about and they've reformed it since then. But
sure.
Put it aside. Whatever it is, even just based on the structure of the Constitution, what you know about our democracy and what the framers of the Constitution intended, it can't be that the Vice President of the United States can just adjourn the joint session of Congress on a whim.
No one can technically.
If anyone has that power, don't you believe Congress has that authority? If it came down to it,
they don't have the authority, but I think we would still. There is a point, and what are the two cases that have happened where we did something that's completely fucking illegal, but it doesn't go. There's no rule for it, but everyone was on the same page, and so it doesn't fucking matter.
Okay. So
there's nothing in here that saes you can delay, but if everyone agreed and just said, yeah, there's a thing, we'll just wait till the 6th. We have no legal grounds to do this. You can do it. We've done that before.
You think that the vice president, who is part of this vote, right?
He can't.
He's on those ballots. You think that he is allowed to do this, the first sentence?
No, I already told you no.
Okay. Do you think that it was okay for Trump to propose this?
I don't think it's okay, but again, we're talking about a legal argument. I don't like it, but I don't think it's enough.
Okay, but you believe this would be illegal, right? He's asking him to do something illegal.
I would argue it, yes.
Okay, so taking the cue.
I accept that they can argue the opposite, though.
Taking the cue, state legislatures convene, order a comprehensive audit, investigation election returns in their states, and then determine whether the slate of electors initially certified is valid, or whether the alternate slate of electors should be certified by the legislatures. Exercise authority, it has directly from Article 2 and also from 3 U.S.C. Section 2, which provides the following. Do you believe that sending it back to the states, that when he did that, Trump was trying to change the results of the election?
He wanted it to.
Is that what he was trying to do?
Again, he was trying to, yes.
Okay, so if he had succeeded and had gotten the states to at least one or two, or whatever the 3 states were that would clinch the victory.
So if the legal challenges went through, it was found that he didn't, and the states then ratified the new electors, then yes.
We're talking about legal challenges here. This is just the legislatures convening, using their authority under Article 2, and just voting for Trump.
That's not what's listed in that thing. What are you talking about?
The authority it has directly from Article 2.
D doesn't say, did you change to a different one? Which one are you talking about right now?
You're
not talking about C, are you? Yes.
D says whether the alternate slate of electors should be certified and exercise its authority from Article 2.
Yeah.
You see that?
Wait, that's fine. Wait, what's wrong with that?
That's not a legal challenge. That's a legislature just deciding to undo the vote of the people.
Wait. The election returns to their states, and they determine whether the state electors initially certified is valid or whether alternate slate electors should be certified. So let's say they did that. Let's say that he straight up did that. Let's say VP Pence goes, I'm not going to decide this. I have one slate of electors with a seal and everything that's correct, and I have this one that has none of the things that make it elector board. I then give it to the state and say, hey, do you agree with the one that has your fucking signature on it, or do you agree with the one that doesn't have your signature? And if the state go, the one with my signature, and he goes, okay, the one with your signature, and then they elect Biden.
Oh my God.
What's the problem?
Dude, we're trying to. I don't understand. Like,
what's the problem?
Yeah.
Tell me the
so
problem.
You have brainworm, so I'm gonna explain.
Well,
to you
also real quick before Pisco does whatever explanation, real quick.
Focused.
The question here wasn't to figure out which set of electors was right or wrong. When you said they were supposed to be debating over the seals, that wasn't. It was supposed to be to give them time to convince people that voter fraud had happened. That's what Part D has. It's written in text, right? None of this is about determining who the lawful slate of electors was. It was about trying to change the slate of electors. That's why there's a difference in one or two based on the outcome of investigations.
Yes, the goal will be to try and delay them in actually certifying the correct slate of electors such that they can actually find out that there was in fact voter fraud, such that they would change their new slate. Because they knew that on the current information, there is no other slate of electors.
We're trying to get to Trump's intent, right? We're trying to get to Trump's intent. So whether or not you think it's likely or unlikely to happen isn't what we're talking about here. What we're talking about here is...
That's what I'm talking about.
You're talking about what's most likely?
Baccarat, what do you think? What is our disagreement? Do you think? Like, do you think that
I understand the disagreement to be about
Trump's
I understand the disagreement to be about what Trump's intent was and whether or not it was a fraud, right?
And why the rise level of what? Like that it's because I mean
that you intentionally, knowingly, and falsely do things, right?
The intentionally and knowingly part. That's the only part I'm disagreeing with.
Yeah,
I don't think I have enough to conclude that.
If, as Destiny said, right, you are intending the slate of electors to go down to the states, not to make Biden win, right? You're intending it to go down to the states so you can convince a bunch of legislators with stories that have been debunked.
We're going back to, I don't, do we really want to retread this?
Isn't that the purpose?
My understanding was, again, the things laid out here, aren't the ones you brought up. If the things you brought up that were debunked were the things listed in here, I would agree with you.
Okay, so all of these, so then all of these cases now we've known they failed. Has Donald Trump changed his tune that the election wasn't stolen?
No.
So then why do those other cases matter? It seems like he'd already made his mind up regardless. No?
We wouldn't know, like, I mean, I don't think you can retroactively do that, but
hold on. If I tell you, okay, listen, okay, I will follow the science no matter what. Okay, if you tell me that Red Bull is unhealthy, I will stop drinking. I'll follow the science no matter what. Okay, and now somebody else goes, he's not going to follow the science, right? He's going to drink Red Bull no matter what because he just wants to drink it. And I'm like, no, seriously, I will. Okay, and then let's say that a few months later the science comes out and it's absolutely 1,000,000,000% declared Red Bull is not healthy for you, and I go, fuck you, I don't care, I'm still drinking it. You wouldn't say that. Well, that's probably evidence that he lied about being willing to follow the evidence. He probably just wanted to drink it no matter what.
So you'd say that make sure I'm understanding. You're saying that, so if he believes the outcomes were wrong, so if he says that I think these things were legitimate, I don't think that they were illegitimate, I think the court decided it incorrectly against me, you would say that means that his intention to never follow it.
Wait. So are you going now with not that the...
Is that not what you just...
Hold on. You just use a very sneaky, very clever phrase. You're saying now that it isn't about believing whether or not there was voter fraud. It was about believing whether or not the courts agreed with him?
No, I thought that's what you just... You just said to me that there's evidence that these have been adjudicated. They were told to be fucking wrong, and he's still saying it. Is that not what you said?
Well, a lot of it wasn't even adjudicated. It was just his own officials were telling him that it wasn't the case that there was any voter fraud.
Yes.
So if all these people told him there was no voter fraud, okay, what I'm saying is all these people told him there's no voter fraud, his AG, his campaign manager, everybody else, all these people were saying there's no voter fraud, and then you're saying, now in Zetsu's mind, you're like, okay, well, maybe he really strongly believes that there was, okay? Maybe let's just be really generous here. Maybe he still believed it, okay? Well, then let's say that the months roll on, the years roll on, and he ends up losing every single court case, so now there's no more outstanding, no more pending court cases, and he still has the exact same thing. He's still saying, no, there's voter fraud. You wouldn't use that and look back and go, wow, maybe he actually wasn't being good faith at all. Maybe he just was knowingly lying the entire fucking time.
No, I don't do that to either of you either.
Yes, you would.
Okay, wait.
dude.
Then in
No, I
that case,
literally
wait.
haven't.
So then outside of wait.
Disagree with court decisions throughout this whole thing. What are you talking
wait,
about?
hold on. None of this has to do with disagreeing with a Supreme Court decision, okay, or any
You just
court
said
decision.
it was adjudicated, and the fact is he still. So he believes the position is wrong. He goes, I think there's fraud.
No, but we're talking about the underlying. We're talking about the underlying facts here. Okay, he has no evidence of the underlying facts at all. This isn't like a disagreement on like a legal ruling or like on jurisprudence or on like fucking how somebody should interpret the Constitution or something. It's not a disagreement on that. It's a disagreement on underlying facts that he has absolutely no evidence for, and he still doesn't. And the courts have decided that he doesn't. So if none of that is enough to convince you that he's acting in bad faith, what would it take besides a direct confession?
Again, I think I've already told you multiple times. If I look through each one of those things that will go, yep, each one of those things were in fact frivolous. That even though like the court adjudicated it, and I believe it was adjudicated not just that it was wrong, but that it was frivolously wrong.
Wait, so you agree? So you think that there is a chance that all these courts got it wrong, and that's why in your head, since you haven't gone through every single case. Well, wait. What do you think?
No.
If the fact that all the
fact
fact
frivolous are the same thing, it has to be complete. It goes if it's complete bullshit. So the
wait, hold on, wait. Do you think that if a thing fails because it's a frivolous lawsuit, or if it fails on standing, you think that the court is wrong in making that judgment?
No, I didn't say it was wrong. I'm saying if you would say that like no, there's not enough here to proceed, that doesn't mean that therefore you have bad faith in even filing it.
Okay, but wait. Do you think that the court, if there was outcome determinative fraud, do you think the court would say, there's not really enough here to look into this? The court would just say like, fuck it.
No.
Okay, then if all the courts shot all of these down, and we're going to assume the courts weren't doing it because they were just bored or whatever, then why would we assume on how can Trump still believe these things in good faith then? Where does he get these ideas from?
What do you mean? What like the position? So if he says like I believe this, like whatever it is, each one of those things, that the thing was unlawful, that you weren't allowed to do it, and the court says, yeah, we can, and he goes, I don't agree with you guys. I think you guys weren't able to. And he keeps saying that. I don't think that shows evidence that goes he never actually believed it to begin with.
Okay, how can you convict on any fraud ever? Do you agree that your position is that?
I laid out for you multiple times.
No, wait, hold on. Give me an example of a fraud I could commit.
Let's go with this one. The ballot thing you said you hit under. So if he had done the ballot thing, you go, no, we have video evidence that shows that's not what was happening. We know what was happening. So it's not the court just saying like, no, I don't think there's grounds here. That video is so clearly bullshit that like there's nothing wrong there. And so if he keeps saying it, then and the thing is when he tried to adjudicate it and he's still trying to adjudicate it now, saying the court was wrong, then I would say that that's enough for fraud. There's enough evidence there that he should know that it's not true.
The video was the basis of many of his claims, and many of the electors would point to that video as one of the basis of their claims. That wasn't listed.
Then why wasn't it listed?
Whether it was listed there, those are other sources of independent illegality. He doesn't.
Those are the plans.
He doesn't specify the fraud itself because it's all kind of encompassed in one general.
If you're going like, okay, he's hiding that part to hide it, then why didn't he hide part C?
No.
Where that's the thing where I'm like, that's totally a coup. That's fucking insane. Wouldn't he? Like, why is he hiding some of it and not hiding others?
Well, hold on. Wait. To be clear, all of this was hidden.
Yes.
Then none of this was a public statement.
By the way, C is based just as much on these legal challenges as D is. So why don't you say why do you say that C is a fraud or C is a coup or C is whatever? If
it does cross,
if it's also based on illegal
It
conduct.
crosses it. That one crossed the threshold. You
what
keep
threshold?
asking me. The threshold is saying like, what would it take to get you to believe it was a coup, even if it's legal?
Oh, but it's not. But it's not a fraud.
That one is so insane. No, that one would. If you try to do it, I would say you're fraudulent.
Oh, okay.
If that was what
but it's based on the same stuff. It's all based on the same illegal conduct and fraud.
They have other ones that aren't. That would go like, okay, this is a legal challenge.
But under one, the ones you're referring to, the legal challenges, big Roman numeral 1 applies to everything in big Roman numeral 2.
Okay, and then also, just as a quick thing, hold on. Maybe I'll be super good faith. Maybe you're just not aware of this, okay? But in DGG chat, okay, I'm linking this, okay? Go to page 48 of the PDF, okay? I think it's like 22 on the document, part of the executive summary, okay? You don't have to load it, but just in reading, okay? So on 12/15/20, okay? I believe this is December 15th, 2020, okay?
DGG chat.
Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen says, and so he said, well, what about this? I saw it on the videotape, somebody delivering a suitcase of ballots. And we said it wasn't a suitcase, it was a bin. That's what they use when they're counting ballots. It's benign. And then Donald Trump, 1 week later, said There is even security camera footage from Georgia that shows officials telling poll watchers to leave the room before pulling suitcases of ballots out from under the tables and continuing to count for hours. This is the famous video that Pisco's talking about. So here's a direct evidence of the Deputy Attorney General, Rosen, saying this video is not real. And then 1 week later, Trump saying it is real. There are like 20 of these listed through here. I could read every single one, but I don't need to. But like, there are.
Show me them again. Where is it? Like, you sent it to me. Or
Go
did
to
you do it?
you go. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I posted it in DGG chat. Did you see it?
Oh, DGG chat. Okay. I don't have that open.
Okay. This is the January 6th. We read all 845 pages of this. Okay.
There it is.
It's page 22 of the document. It's page 48 of the PDF. Like 48 out of 845.
It's loading.
It'll take a while to load.
So you said there's like 20 of them. You said.
Yeah. Acting Deputy Attorney General Richard Donahue. I told the president myself that several times in several conversations that these allegations about ballots being smuggled in a suitcase and run through the machine several times, it was not true. That we looked at it, we looked at the video, we interviewed the witnesses, that it was not true. I believe it was on the phone call on December 27th. It was also in a meeting in the Oval Office on December 31st. On January 2nd, Donald Trump said, she stuffed the machine, she stuffed the ballot. Each ballot went through 3 times. They were showing, here's ballot number 1, here it is a second, third, second time, third time, next ballot. Attorney General Barr on December 1st said, then he raised the big vote dump, as he called it, in Detroit. And, he said, people saw boxes coming into the counting station at all hours of the morning and so forth. I said, Mr. President, there are 630 precincts in Detroit. And unlike elsewhere in the state, they centralized the counting process, so they're not counted in each precinct. They're moved to counting stations. And so the normal process would involve boxes coming in at all different hours. And I said, did anyone point out to you, did all the people complaining about it point out to you, you actually did better in Detroit than you did last time? I mean, there's no indication of fraud in Detroit. Donald Trump, 1 day later, I'll tell you what's wrong, voter fraud. Here's an example. This is Michigan. At 6:31 in the morning, a vote dump of 149,772 votes came in unexpectedly. We were winning by a lot. That batch was received in horror. In Detroit, everybody saw the tremendous conflict. There were more votes than there were voters. There's like 20 of these. I can read like all these, but like...
Sure, yes. I mean, I'll read through them, but yes.
Wait, do you agree those are all lies?
Yes.
Do you agree those are all lies?
Yes, no, that he's been replying. There's only 2 options. Option 1, you're lying, or 2, you're senile and 25th Amendment would get you. That sounds like my grandfather when his mind started
we have
going.
this doctrine known as like willful blindness, which because we can't like read minds, but normal people, when they see things like this, they're like, okay, he's lying. And so if all of these statements, and we can go through more, are all lies, and
then yes,
okay,
then why
well,
don't we think that this is fraud?
Okay,
then I just said if
it would be.
Again,
Okay,
I'm
then it would
loading,
be.
I will read through them as long as I'm like as long as. Yes,
okay.
I agree with you.
Okay,
that was my whole point, was saying that in those statements, I didn't.
Okay, that's fine. I
did
understand.
was
Yep. Okay, so we weren't aware of these particular statements. That's fine. Okay, but then if that was the case,
Sorry,
What?
that's not fine. How the fuck are you coming on here?
Wait.
and saying
Well,
that-
but that-
no. Stop. How are you coming on here and saying this is absolutely not fraud, and you don't know the very basics of January 6th and everything leading up to it?
Didn't argue that.
Really? How dare you? How dare you come on here and make a case for why, we shouldn't read into these statements and it's conceivably wasn't lying if you don't know the very basic facts of what happened?
You don't even know the basic facts of my argument, man. What was my position? Just say it. Come on.
Your position was it wasn't fraud.
No!
Wasn't it?
No!
What's
say
your position?
It, please, Destiny,
What's your position?
Someone.
I think the position was that you didn't believe there was strong evidence that from start to finish, Donald Trump was attempting to intentionally circumnavigate the legal electoral process, and that he could have been exploring other possibilities that weren't, I guess.
I did not have enough. That each time I said, like, okay, I see an Eastman memo. I'm like, this looks like coup. And then goes, well, here's a part 2. And I go, okay, that's expanded. Why have I never heard of this before?
Wait.
Each one of these things. What information am I supposed to fucking read? How many fucking articles do I have to read to
Hang on, stop.
Where the fuck is
No,
this?
this is Weasel. This is Weasel.
No,
regardless of
I
what
haven't even finished looking through, so I don't even say. Just so we're clear, I haven't completely conceded. I haven't read it. I'm still loading.
Regardless of however you want to reframe your position.
Sure. I haven't reframed shit.
If the truth or falsity of your position relies on knowing or not knowing the very basic components of Donald Trump's election fraud life, these are the basic components. These are Stephen, who's right?
To be clear, wait. The reason why, hold on. To be clear, the reason why these are basic components is because the indictment from Jack Smith lays out, this is one of the things that he directly puts as evidence to Donald Trump, like knowingly trying to defraud the American public. I believe that Jack Smith, I think, intentionally references it might even literally be some of these exact examples. I can go through the indictment again. I'll check real quick.
No, you don't even need to give me pleading. Show me, it should be like all the news articles. There should be nothing written about anything else, right?
Why do I care about news articles? I'm not talking about news articles.
I just told you I didn't read, like, so for the first ones, for those pleadings, I go,
hey, you didn't pay attention.
Pleadings each one. I just trust
so why
each
are you
one
talking
that goes,
if you didn't pay
thrown
attention?
out. I'm saying you cannot say to me, I think there's enough for fraud, and I can't believe you don't. I'm like, okay.
Wait, no. I can't believe that you would come on here confident and be like, oh, I don't really know. I haven't seen enough. When you haven't done the basic due diligence to know the facts that make up the election fraud.
Yeah, so real quick. Yep, wait. So real quick,
every time you guys show me something, I concede, and then I go, wow, you fucking hid shit from me.
So real quick on the indictment on page 5, okay, manner and means. 10, the defendant's conspiracy to impair, obstruct, and defeat the federal government function through dishonesty, fraud, and deceit included the following manner and means. And for A, it lists the defendant and co-conspirators used knowingly false claims of election fraud to get state legislators and election officials to subvert the legitimate election results and change electoral votes for the defendant's opponent, Joseph R. Biden Jr., to electoral votes for the defendant. That is, on the pretext of baseless fraud claims, the defendant pushed officials in certain states to ignore the popular vote, disenfranchise millions of voters, dismiss legitimate electors, and ultimately caused the ascertainment of and voting by illegitimate electors in favor of the defendant. The baseless claims, that's what that's referring to.
Yeah, and I'm going to take them and then I'm going to cross-reference them with the fucking pleadings. And so long as you're right, then fine.
It's actually pathetic, and it really is pathetic that
every single time I had to concede to like 4 different people, and each time you guys fucking lie to me, and I have to go like,
no,
right. If everything you say is
there's
true,
been no lies to you. There's been no lies to you.
And then I go, wow, turns out you were fucking no, I didn't even point out one.
Pathetic,
the second Eastman MO was fucking hidden. You guys fucking hid. The first time
I actually feel bad for. I actually feel bad for the MAGA people, because I know Destiny has a lot of MAGA viewers or Trump fans for whatever reason, but they watch and they put a lot of work into their conspiracy and fake, election fraud conspiracies, and you didn't even look at any of them. You didn't even know what the claims of election fraud were. That's incredible. How can you be in this space and not know what the election fraud claims are, even like the most famous ones? That's insane.
It's not even in the plan. The most famous one is not even in it.
Wait, so just to be clear, so on page 8, Part 12 here, the defendant widely disseminated his... I'm on the indictment now, not on that. The J6 committee, you don't have to read all of this. This is just the indictments, the Jack Smith indictments. The defendant widely disseminated his false claims of election fraud for months, despite the fact that he knew, and in many cases had been informed directly, that they were not true. The defendant's knowingly false statements were integral to his criminal plans to defeat the federal government function, obstruct the certification, and interfere with others' rights to vote and have their votes counted. He made these knowingly false claims throughout the post-election time period, including those below that he made immediately before the attack on the Capitol on January 6th. The defendant insinuated that more than 10,000 dead voters had voted in Georgia. Just 4 days earlier, Georgia's Secretary of State had explained to the defendant that this was false. The defendant asserted that there had been 205,000 more votes and voters in Pennsylvania. The defendant said acting Attorney General and acting Deputy Attorney General had explained that this was false. The defendant said that there had been a suspicious vote dump in Detroit, Michigan. The defendant's Attorney General, this goes on, there's like 7 different examples. But some of those, the one that I just read, you heard me read in the January 6th report. I think all of them might come from this, or they might even have novel ones. But yeah, this is a pretty important part. This is a pretty integral part of the claims that he had been doing fraud. This is in the indictments, and it was in the J6 Select Committee report.
And the insurrection case, the Section 3 case. That has to do with intent, and obviously
now they want to recertify.
Ooh, what's interesting is you're not going to be able to prove fraud on probably any of these, because a conversation between the Attorney General and the President about, an ongoing investigation or whatever, if there was anything that was a core function of the President, it would be this. So none of these conversations are going to be allowed to be probed for criminal intent on this.
The indictment is Swiss cheese.
Yeah. It's
Pisco. Can I ask you, because actually the hypothetical I asked Destiny before all this, like the original thing we were talking about.
I'm sorry for yelling at you, but I'm not, dude, but I should.
No, dude, I love it. Like, don't like. So the whole we're counterpoints. Like, you're too much of a dick, dude. Go full bore. I love you. You're my favorite fucking worker. I love you so much. Like, and I don't have no problem being called retarded. I have no you screaming at me. I love every second of it. And again, you're right. And you're right. My answer is that I didn't So my initial position was just I didn't read any of the pleadings. I accepted them all as truth. And I'm like, no, they get thrown out. They get thrown out. They get accepted. They don't.
Okay. What's
afterwards? I then felt. Yeah. Anyways, but sorry. The question is, so let's say you're the legal advisor for Biden right now. And so Biden comes to you and says, hey, after that decision, I have decided he's a threat under my military powers. I'm going to kill Trump. And you're my advisor. I'm good. Like, I will face no criminal liability, right? Like, would you say like, yes, you're fine to do, like, not morally. So I'm saying impeachment, but I will face no criminal, no civil liability for that. Would you, and you're his advisor, so he's going to do what you tell him to do. What would you tell him to do? If
So the answer to that question, for various reasons, is now this is not actually legal advice.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that this court, because of its partisan nature, would make a carve out for that action.
Yes,
but I don't believe it would be a principled one.
Yes,
I think it would be. I think it would be one made out of, just because they
come
could
up with
say
some
anything.
reason, and because they didn't talk about the dissent at all.
Not,
and that gives them a carve out. Yeah, no, I agree completely.
But number one, that doesn't apply if he's not the president. If Trump's the president, I think if Trump were the president under this court, they would.
Yeah.
And I think if you follow the actual logic of it, and if you actually, because the only thing we have, that's just me guessing, right? The only thing you have is like read the opinion, right? I can't predict tomorrow exactly that they would rule one way or the other. It's all just kind of memes and dreams. But if you follow the opinion and read the opinion, it's absolutely covered. Is my answer to that. And the proof is like no one. And I've seen a couple of the Reddit threads. All these Reddit threads are stupid. If you guys are who are making these Reddit threads who are like the post Comey 2 whatever act about whatever the statute is that governs military conduct. I saw one of these. And I forget exactly who it was, but he's like, you don't understand. You absolutely cannot operate SEAL Team 6 inside the United States. It says so in the law. Like, you guys are military pilled, and you guys are like pilled by like what the statutes say. But it's very clear that what governs criminality or non-criminality isn't what the statutes of Congress say. It absolutely just isn't. And either way, even if you were to grant that the conduct at issue here would be governed by the statutes that Congress promulgates. What a thought, right? Even if you were, you could just change it to the FBI. So it doesn't really matter. And the SEAL Team 6 hypos are more a reference to the general authority to use force, which there is some, absolutely. And also, I just don't believe that. I believe that there are constitutional powers that the president has if the country were actually invaded, right? In an actual invasion, of course you could operate the military inside the United States to defend the country.
Yeah, I think
absolutely, 100%.
So your position, I completely agree that if
it's just not the case. Like if Al Qaeda is attacking on 9/11, you could absolutely, if you needed to use a military asset, you could use it, and that doesn't have to do necessarily with the structures of like what Congress laid out. It's just an inherent power of the executive to defend the nation. And so whatever you're going to say about, but my military instructor told me you can't operate inside America, like forget all that stuff. It doesn't matter. Yeah, that does not matter.
It has to do with the president's power. That's the core power. Isn't you have to do it that way. Yeah,
anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at on that. And I don't know. Do you have another question?
I think just that one. But yeah, no, I completely agree that like if they're partisan, that is exactly what they can do. When you guys were talking with Dan, they're like, you guys were talking about like, well, Biden can do this. Biden can't do shit. Biden can't use this. Like they didn't agree with the dissent, and they can do that if he tries to do something like that, carve it out. Why it wasn't, they'd still go after him. It'd be stupid to try and recommend that Biden, not because he's a good person, but because he wouldn't get through with it. It wouldn't work. God-giving powers wouldn't work. If they are biased and you're like, yeah, they'll give it to Trump, they're not going to give it to him.
Yeah, so, that's a realist analysis. That's kind of like, if you give,
it's pretty horrifying though, right?
The judge a sandwich before the ruling, maybe he'll rule in your favor. That's just I'm kind of a realist right now. I'm in a realist mood. So that's where I'm at. But I do think that the opinion does allow for it. But I just happen to think that the court would not stick to its guns, just like they didn't with Bruin, right? In Bruin, you have this case about the Second Amendment, and they say you need to have an analog there, and it needs to be historical. And then so someone brings a case who's like a literal wife beater or something, who's this very violent person, and they did a restraining order on him or something like that, and said you can't possess a gun at the same time, but they didn't like find him guilty of anything. And he's like, hey, this is unconstitutional. And you would think, well, if there isn't a law on point, how can you say you can't have guns? And the court made an exception because that's what, or they sort of zoomed out a level of generality. And that's what they'll do whenever like the realist consequences are too much. And here, I think what was motivating the court was, we don't want to be seen as affecting the outcome of the election. So we're going to do whatever we need to both prevent this trial from taking place and to stymie any kind of indictment like the New York indictment or any related state proceeding. That's what they did.
Yeah. There's one thing I don't think Destiny wants to drag it out just because, but it was the other one was the election one.
Oh, what's the
or the one had to do with like removing Colorado from the ballot. But if you don't want to get into it, we don't.
What's your question about that?
It was. I thought you had said you heard mine and you thought mine was totally retarded again.
You said that
Congress. So here I can just lay out quickly, very quickly. my understanding, so whether or not you are eligible would be determined by Congress. So that your eligibility is whether Congress will sit you. If you're eligible. If they won't, then you're not. And so and the only thing that the states, from what I've read, the state's interest in removing someone from the ballot is because they don't want to give their votes to someone that can't be sat. So you have an interest in not wasting your votes. So if Congress will sit Trump, you lost the state's interest in going, I can remove you because I think that you're under Article 3. Well, the only reason you had that was to remove them was because they won't sit him and you'd be wasting your votes. But if you won't be wasting your votes, they will sit him, then you can't remove him because your interest is being resolved.
You can't predict sufficiently whether or not the Congress will sit you, right? They could vote. You can't base the eligibility criteria based on like what you think Congress will do.
So if Congress came out, so let me ask you this: so if Congress, no ruling, no nothing, but just Congress just said publicly, yeah, we're going to sit him. We did the whole impeachment thing, didn't go through. We will absolutely sit him. Like no official communication to anyone. They just say that out loud. Because Colorado was like analyzing the facts of it, and so I'm saying like, so if they just come out and say that, would you go, no, they can't remove him? Because they just said that they would sit him. Would you do you agree with that assessment saying that it's based on whether? Are you asking
whether they can or whether they have the power to?
Yeah, would they have the power to? Would you agree?
They would have the power to. I think it would. I don't think they have the legal authority to, but the court wouldn't be able to review it. So it's going to be a political question. But I believe that they would be violating the Constitution if they did that. But
yeah, okay, so
that's not the question. Like the question is, what are the qualifications to be president of the United States, and can states enforce them? And you said like they can't or something, but like states enforce the qualifications all the time.
Yes. Yeah, no. So they don't have. There was actually someone actually sent me after that. They sent me this long list. They go, here's all the times they've done it, and there are examples where it's like the person is 31, admits they're 31, and they get removed. There's no challenge because the person's not even claiming they're 36. They admit they're wrong. Yeah, same thing with every single one of them. They're admitting they're wrong. If Trump said
that's the state enforcing.
There's no challenge. The problem is that they don't have to. So if Trump, let's say they literally come out and say, nope, Trump did not do in Article 3. If Trump says he did,
Section 3.
Section 3. Section 3. It goes, if Trump admits and says, I am guilty under Article 3, I was trying to do an insurrection, I don't care what Congress said, I totally did it, and they remove him from the ballot, you can't challenge. There's no one to challenge it. Trump is admitting he's wrong, even if he turns out.
You literally haven't read Anderson.
I have. No, Anderson doesn't decide anything. Like, so that was the.
You haven't read the case about. I'm going to get mad again. You're just making things up.
You're right. No, they didn't decide. You're right. The court does not say anything I'm saying. They don't say. The liberals.
You're just making it up.
No, I'm making my argument for what I think is true. But the liberals literally go, we can decide it. Go, you can't do it. Period. Gone. The conservatives laid out the strategy. Said no, Congress has to do this thing.
Yeah. So if
they didn't go into anything I'm saying,
even if Trump admitted he was an insurrectionist, the state wouldn't be able to enforce it.
No, I'm saying you're right. They wouldn't. But who would challenge it?
What do you mean? Who would challenge it? He would challenge.
He would have standing.
He would win.
He's admitting.
Wait, Trump would have standing.
He can't both deny it. No, he would. If he says I did, he wouldn't be arguing he didn't. Who would be challenged? He can't challenge.
He would say you don't have the authority to adjudicate this claim. Yeah, I'm an insurrectionist, but you can't determine that. You don't have the power.
That's what all those cases, the examples of like this is where they've determined it. That's exactly what they did. They go, you're 31. You said you're 31. You're out. We don't have. They didn't make a determination that goes. You say because they're not even challenging on. They're challenging on saying it violates my other rules.
Having some really big problems here. So what the court found is specifically Section 3.
Yep.
The states are not allowed to enforce that qualification, even if Trump were to admit all of the facts and admit that what the legal conclusions were of them. The Colorado courts, it was dismissed for lack of subject matter jurisdiction.
Agreed.
You understand that?
Yeah. And
so you agree that if it doesn't have subject matter jurisdiction, then they cannot make a ruling.
Someone has to challenge it.
Trump could challenge it.
He just said we just agreed that's the whole point. It's saying he didn't challenge it. If he challenges it, he has to say I'm not.
Yeah, if he didn't challenge it, then of course he'd be off the ballot because he didn't challenge it. But he could challenge it and win. He would win.
His argument is that he's wrong.
No, his argument. He has arguments.
His argument is I'm under Article 3. They're not saying they're not determining it. They're going. You told us you weren't eligible.
You're going to make me think you're trolling. It's Section 3. Article 3 has to do with judiciary. Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. So no. You're wrong. So Trump has substantive arguments about why he didn't do an insurrection. Agreed. But that wouldn't matter. Even if he conceded all of those, he would win on subject matter jurisdiction. That's
And
what
how
the
does
court
subject
found.
matter jurisdiction on your age or anything else?
That's exactly why the court's an idiot, and the court got the decision in Anderson wrong. Because, what do you mean no? That's
The other
my point.
that's the examples they all give. If you look at like the examples, what I'm saying is here. So let's say you're 36, so you are totally eligible, right? So the court can't remove you because you're 36. If you put on the paper, I'm 31, so you attest you're 31, your argument is you're 31, everything you say is 31, and they remove you because you told them you're 31.
I don't understand what you're saying.
So
Yeah,
no,
you
so
told them
how could they
31.
put him on the, yeah, so then why would the court put you on the ballot? You said you're 31, you're not eligible. You said it, not the court. That's the whole point. In each of those examples, the person goes, "No, I'm not eligible, but I think there's other reasons why you should put me."
You're proposing a situation in which someone who's 36, I don't even understand why it matters that he's 36 when he puts down 31, but let's just
because sure, there's a reason why.
He writes down he's 31 and he gives it to the Secretary of State. Secretary of State says, "Nope, you're not going to be on the ballot. You don't meet the qualifications," and he challenges it. Okay,
No, not even you don't. Just say you told me you don't. Your argument is you don't meet the qualifications. I don't have to make a determination of anything. You just tell me that, and I just go, okay. They don't look into you if you say you're wrong. Like if you argue to the court that, like, if I say I rear-ended them, I'm suing them, but they didn't actually rear-end me, then they'll dismiss your case. They won't adjudicate the facts.
If you say yes, I don't fulfill the qualification of Section 3 of 14th Amendment, if you put that down on the paper and the Secretary of State writes the decision and says we are not putting you because you admit you're not qualified under Section 3, and that's why we're not.
I think it would be 12b6. Wouldn't that be a 12b6? You've stated a claim with failure because the thing is you're arguing that you're not. You have to make the argument that you are.
Holy shit. We're not in court yet. This is the Secretary of State. You write to Secretary of State, put me on the ballot.
Yes.
Secretary of State says,
yes.
Are you eligible? You say, no, under Section 3, I am an insurrectionist. And it's like, sorry, denied under Section 3. Okay, no lawsuit yet. Agreed?
Agreed.
Who files a lawsuit?
No one can.
Yes, Trump can.
Under what? And again, unless he lies, are you going to say he's going to lie?
It's an ultra-virus act. The state was not allowed to take him off the ballot because of Section 3. It was without authorization. He took me off the ballot.
Someone has to challenge. I know the challenge would be I violated it, but you don't have the right to tell me that. Would be his argument, correct?
No, he doesn't even have to get into that. He just says this act you're not allowed as a state to determine whether or not I am eligible under Section 3.
Sure, this is definitely me not conveying it right because what I'm trying to say is so all the examples of the times because you're saying it's inconsistent. That Anderson's inconsistent with how we've done it because courts have in fact removed people for not being 35.
That's right.
They've removed him. They've removed Schenck for not being natural born. The reason I'm saying that they're admitting it is that I cannot find. And again, if you want to own me and tell me I'm retarded again, you can do it immediately by showing me a time where the person argued that they were. So if someone said I am 36. The state said you're 31 and removed you, and that didn't go and that we said no, sorry, the state gets to determine it. Each of those cases, all the examples I can find. That's what I'm saying.
I agree. States are allowed to enforce the other qualifications of the Constitution. They're allowed to. So states are allowed to enforce them. They have jurisdiction.
But I'm saying, but it's never been tested. Actually,
it has been tested, not by the Supreme Court, but by other courts.
It's only been tested. Actually, no. Maybe you do. Are you aware of one of those? Are you aware of one where the person was arguing that they were like 40, and the court says no, you're 20?
Again, I don't know why you're coming on here expounding on Section 3.
Give it to me.
You
Tell
don't
me
know the case law.
Show me the case. Tell me it.
So Neil Gorsuch, I think it's. I don't remember the actual case name.
The grin on my face, I will accept my retard label. Fucking give it to me.
Just search Neil Gorsuch Section 3 opinion, and you'll find it. But it has to. It's a 10th Circuit case, I think, or. I don't know what circuit it is actually, but it was.
Do you remember at least anything about the facts that it helped me find it?
Yes.
Arizona v. Mayorkas?
No.
Damn it. I'm not getting a case.
The facts were I don't think he was a natural born citizen. And
a natural born.
And go ahead. And
he argued that he was. Oh, is this Abdul Hakim Hassam? It's not.
Yeah. That's the case.
No, it's not. He admits he's arguing that. So this one is because natural born citizen. So natural born citizen was what is the case that I forget what case it actually we don't even have a direct case on point. Yeah. Well, wait.
So he admits he's not a natural born citizen. He admits.
Yeah. No, I know. That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. That what I'm asking you for. So what I'm asking for is one in which the person is arguing they are the thing, so that there is a dispute between the petitioner and the state as to the actual fact of their eligibility, not the righteousness. So like the the underage, the person, there was a girl, she was 31 and she tried to become president and they took her off. She said, no, this violates under like privilege and immunities equal, like, so that she challenged it not on the grounds she was eligible, but on the grounds that to try and challenge the 35 itself. And for this one, the natural born, saying that the fact that you won't, like, I'm not natural born, but I have actually this one, privilege and immunities. So it goes, it violates the privilege and immunity equal protection. His argument, if his argument was, what I'm asking for is one where he goes, no, dude, I was born in California. And they're going, no, you're not. And I go, yes, I was. That would be the dispute. And that's a dispute they're dealing with in Anderson. That we've never, the reason why I would distinguish and why I think that their position is consistent with these is that this is the only time in which there has been a dispute where the person's position isn't that the qualification isn't that they're disputing the qualification, not whether they fit it or not. Because Trump's is saying, no, you can totally invalidate someone under 3. It doesn't apply. However, I'm not invalid. I haven't violated our can't remove me. I have not. There has not been a single case.
That's not what he argued. You didn't read the case.
No. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. I wasn't listening to his argument.
You're completely ignorant. The holding in Anderson.
You just gave me a piece, and dude, can you just for that? So do you admit that I asked you for? And you gave me one that was wrong, and then called me an idiot. I was right. You had given me an example, and I'm going to explain why I'm right. You said, what if he puts down that he's 31? That's an example where he admits he's ineligible. So what you just said is like one where he claims he's not is not what you asked for. I asked you for a case, and I know the case I asked you for. I said, give me one where there is a dispute as to their eligibility, so that someone would say, I am over 35, and the court is saying that they are not 35, not. Because the one you gave me does not say I am a natural born citizen. That's what I'm asking for. You didn't give me that.
You asked me for an example
in which they said I am a natural born citizen, and the court says no, you're not. That there's a dispute between the petitioner and the state as to whether they are eligible.
The example you asked me for was a situation in which someone who's 36 puts down that they're 31 and concedes that they're ineligible.
No, that was a theoretical. Okay, then
that's
maybe
what you asked me for.
No, I don't think I asked you for that. I feel like
you can watch the VOD. That's exactly what you asked me for. You asked me for a situation in which, and you were like,
you didn't give me that.
And I said, I don't know. I don't understand why you're telling me that he's 36 if he's putting down his 31, but fine. And you gave me an example where someone was conceding that they were ineligible under the terms of what's going on. That's what you asked me for.
Conceding. No. So I'm saying not that he's not he's conceding it, but he's not arguing on that point. Okay, no, I see. You're right. No, absolutely. It's my fuck up for not. I'm not saying my statement correctly. When I say that conceding on the point and then arguing on that point. So saying I am 31, however, you can't remove me because I'm 36. This one, each one of these examples, I'm trying. Yeah, there's a reason. What I'm trying to distinguish. What I'm trying to, and again, fine, fuck it. I'm retarded. I can't convey it properly. I'm trying to distinguish between this case and all previous cases, and why Anderson is consistent with everything else we've done. And that's saying that because in this one where they're going, the court did not give a lot of information. The liberals didn't even like the information that the conservatives gave. I agree. I'm not saying things like, oh yeah, the court held all the things I'm saying.
You're yapping.
All the
Stop.
Sure. Okay.
Anderson is a case about the power of states to hear claims arising out of Section 3. Anderson decided that states do not have the power to oversee or disqualify people, whether it's their state legislature, whether it's their state courts, whether there's the state constitution. They are not allowed to enforce Section 3 claims and disqualify candidates for federal office.
Agreed.
That's what they decided. Now, whether or not Trump conceded that he was ineligible under Section 3, a state government apparatus, be that a legislature, be that a state executive, be that state constitution, be that state judge, it would be unconstitutional under Anderson for any state government power to adjudicate someone or to say someone can't be on the ballot because of Section 3.
Agreed.
So even if Trump conceded, because there is no federal mechanism to enforce Section 3, other than maybe the criminal insurrection statute.
That's what I'm... No, I'm just retarded and I can't convey it to you. Like, I don't know how to...
Are you saying there would be a way under Anderson for Donald Trump to be off the ballot?
Yes.
If he conceded things? There's no way. You haven't read the case.
No, I have. Dude, I agree with everything you say. I know. I'm saying yes. I agree. I know agreeing with any part of your statement. And what I'm trying to convey is, so let's say, again, I'm Donald Trump. I admit to the court, I submit my ballot to them and say, I am invalid under Article 3.
Which court?
I
Not
can't,
the court.
or no, just whenever I'm submitting my paperwork to go on to be president,
Okay, yeah.
I am admitting and saying, no, I am not eligible to be president. I won't be sat. If you give me any votes, it's not going to work. And the state goes, well, we have an interest. They're not going to look into it and say, well, we need to adjudicate this. They will take you at your word, in the same sense that they're not going to check. If you say you're 31, they're not going to. That's why I brought that example.
Yes,
so he's off the ballot, and he can't challenge it.
Yes, he can.
Because you're going to say he's going to challenge it on standing, to say that you didn't have the standing to adjudicate me and remove me from the ballot.
You don't challenge things on. He wouldn't challenge it on standing. He would say,
you can't remove me from the ballot.
No, he would say this violates the Constitution. When you did that, I'm suing you for violating the 14th Amendment, Section 3.
They're saying, it goes, well, did you, like, are you eligible? Because they'd ask that question. They'd say, are you eligible?
This is you are the Supremacy Clause. You're violating the Supremacy Clause.
Make Trump's argument. So let's say you're Trump in that situation. So you said your article, make your legal argument.
In this case is about eligibility to ballots under Section 3. Donald Trump concedes he's ineligible to the ballot under Section 3. However, this court, as found in Anderson, and any state apparatus or any state law or any state government is unable to enforce Section 3. Only Congress may do so. Therefore, when Secretary What's-Her-Name tried to take me off the ballot, or did take me off the ballot, or refused to put me on the ballot, that was an unconstitutional act. It was ultra-virus. She did not have the authority to do so, and therefore you, court, must strike that down.
Okay, and my counter-argument to that would be saying that we did not remove you. We are not enforcing Article 3. President Trump informed us he was not eligible.
Now you're changing the facts. They are.
You are enforcing. They don't. I'm telling you that. That's my position. That's why I'm saying. Well, again, I guess we disagree, but I'm saying that's why this is. But then they made the decision. You believe it's inconsistent with all their prior rulings. And remember, Trank was removed from the ballot on this exact thing, and the Supreme Court didn't take it up.
I don't understand.
This was after the case. Yes. You're saying they're inconsistent, but I'm saying that so that the idea goes, I'm retarded. But remember, they are following what I'm telling you, that they're not taking up the cases, and they're saying they don't say the inconsistent. And remember, all 9 of them. It's not.
Wait,
just like
can any of you hear me right now?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
So do you think
wait, just as a real quick, I don't know if
you're stopping.
Am I still streaming or?
Yeah, you're streaming, I think.
Okay, my power's been out for like 10 minutes. I don't know why. So I don't know if my stream's going to die soon. I don't know. I don't know. My power's out. I've tried to like...
The stream's on.
Yeah, I know, because my 2 like uninterruptible power supplies are running, but my power is just out.
Have you been gone this whole time?
Yes, I've been trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. I think maybe it's in my building, but okay.
I was like...
Hopefully I'll be back in a minute, I guess. Be careful.
All right.
Yeah, keep going. Bye.
All right.
So are you saying you can't understand in any... Like, you have no good faith argument for why they didn't take up Chank's case?
Yes,
because Cenk was removed from the ballot after, so he argued.
Yes,
Anderson says he can't rule on it. Yeah. Sure, a good faith. So what would be the court's argument as to why they can't remove Cenk?
The good faith argument is that the qualification under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment is different. It's a different type of qualification. The other ones are kind of like totally fit for state review. They kind of predate the Civil War. And so, it's not a big deal for states to do it. It doesn't offend our separation of powers because it's not as, I don't know, it's more objective than the Section 3 analysis. And so therefore, because it doesn't disrupt the separation of powers inherent in
wait, then what's your disagreement
on here? What's that?
Is it good faith? Is that good faith, or do you actually do you agree? Okay, but you don't
totally disagree. I think it's the stupidest thing.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay, sorry. I was like, whoa, if you believe that, then where's your... But no, okay.
I don't believe that. I think you just asked me to give a good faith.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I got you.
Are you like tracking when I'm talking? I really don't know.
No, you felt like you interrupted me when I was saying that and started talking. You're just making your point.
You literally asked me. Okay.
Yeah, I thought you started talking when I was in the middle of it.